And that's a great moment to have one of the best games of your career. Hartstein up and Hagman with the hammer.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh my God! He's a monster, man. He's a monster. He's a monster.
Lovely Monday afternoon. How are you? Welcome to Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, sports1440.ca. Hope you are having a lovely Monday afternoon as we get set for game as the Oilers. Once I figure out the camera here, now you guys can put it on. So it's rocking and rolling, and we are good to go. Live here at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. I'm Jason Gregor. We welcome in Sean Brown to the broadcast. Brownie, how you doing?
Good. Excited. I actually used to live in this area for 117th Street, so it's always fun coming back here and seeing some of the places. Some of it's changed, and some of the places are still the same.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, that's good. Here, we'll get you to sit back, just relax a bit.
Okay.
There you go.
So you don't
you don't have to have your head right into the camera. There you go. Okay, we're not trying to kiss it. So there we go. That's perfect. Now, of course, we are live at OTR, Jasper Ave, 118th. Your place to watch the game tonight. Pivotal game 3, although in this series, man, every game is going to be pivotal. Not much to separate between these two teams. 8 goals for, 8 goals against. Each team has an overtime victory. One, of course, in double overtime by the Florida Panthers. And now they switch to Florida, where the Oilers, they're going to be comfortable on the road. They're 6-3 overall, but they're 6-1 in their last 7 games on the road. Meanwhile, the Panthers, funny enough, they're dominant. They're 9-3 on the road, but they're only 4-3 on home ice. So Nugent Hopkins didn't skate yesterday, took the warm-up. Jeff Skinner stayed out later. Brownie, you've done a lot of warm-ups in your life. The fact that Jeff Skinner's staying out late tells me he knows he's not playing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it necessarily means that you're not playing. I think that, yeah, I mean, it's always, being in that situation, haven't been in that situation a lot. It's always easy to over prepare and prepare as if you're coming into the game, right? You don't want to be in a situation where you're kind of caught off guard. So, he's probably a guy that at this time of the year that, it's not like their practices are overtaxing or anything like that too, right? So getting out there and just getting some touches and, it's pretty mild, I'm assuming. So, I think you want to, he's a professional too. He's played a ton of games. He knows, kind of the mindset, and he's obviously been in the game already here and performed very well. So, as a player, those are always nervous, right? Because it's this, you can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And it's always, like I said, it's easier to kind of be dialed in, be ready to go, and then have that moment where it's like, hey, you know what, you're not in, you can kind of decompress.
Yeah. Well, you look at if Nugent Hopkins goes out, it's a big issue because if you want to load up Draisaitl McDavid, it means who's your second line center. Then it's going to be Adam Henrique, or it's going to be Trent Frederick, or it's going to be Matthias Janmark, right? Like it's different. So don't underestimate the importance of Nugent Hopkins, I think, in this series, just because of that one. Even if that second line doesn't score, it still gives you a legit second line center who you're comfortable with, can take on some other matchups. Not that, I know they're super comfortable with Janmark defensively, but he doesn't have the same offensive upside as Nugent Hopkins overall. Now in the playoffs, maybe a different story. Janmark, everybody knows Janmark in the playoffs a little bit different. So that's obviously a storyline to watch tonight going into the game. We're going to get to the Elks. We're going to get to NBA. We're going to get to tennis. There's a lot. This was an unreal sports weekend. If you're a sports fan, like there was so much going on in the sporting world. The Elks, it's their season opener. We can get to it. The best part of their game was their return game. It was unreal. Now that's a questionable block, but why you even make that block at that point? That should have been a touchdown return for Leak, but they had other big returns as well. I didn't love the pressure from the D-line, or lack thereof, I should say. The run game was non-existent, so that didn't help. Trey Ford missed a few throws, no question. He also didn't have that much time because they're always in second and long because the run game's doing nothing. And there wasn't a lot of pressure. A lot of protection from the pressure. So we can get into that. I think if some areas for sure for the green and gold to have to work on and improve. And it's not going to be easy in next. They don't play this weekend, but they play the following weekend against Montreal. One of the most complicated offenses out there. So we'll see what the defense picks up. If you're a tennis fan, the Sinner Alcaraz, what an epic battle, man. Like, you look, when we talk about best conditioned athletes, you got to think tennis when you're going those mega 4-5 hour marathon matches. It goes to a fifth set. It's tied at 7 set. Then they got to go to extras and they finally win. So that was excellent. Sabalenka and Goff on Saturday. Goff gets the win. Sabalenka afterwards throws a little bit of shade on her. I don't mind that. You're the number one player in the world. You're like, hey, I didn't have my best. I don't know if she beat me at my best, but hey, that's good for it. I like it. NBA, the OKC Thunder, even up that series. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, another huge game. 38. He's got what? He's averaging 36 points now in the final. He could do something, Brownie, that only Shaquille O'Neal did once in 2000. Michael Jordan did it 4 times. And Lou Alcindor, who then changed his name later to become Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he also did it once. And that's where you're the MVP of the regular season. You lead the scoring race. You win the championship, and you're the MVP in the playoffs. So it's pretty spectacular season what he's having.
Yeah, I mean, it's just exciting too that he's Canadian, right? We're producing all these great Canadian players, and if you listen to him talk, I was really impressed with, just the way he handles himself as well.
Yes,
because that's something about the star players that I think makes him unique, and that's kind of like the Jordan. Like, he has the it, right? And it seems like he might have something, to go along with the super skill that he has. But I really like the way he handles the media, talks about, the importance of team and other guys and the roles that they play for him to have success.
Yeah, no, and their team, like the OKC Thunder is one of the great, there's only 6 teams that have ever won 68 games. Like, they're having an unreal year. And if you would have just taken their wins by double digits this year, they would have the 3rd most wins in the league. Like, they dominated teams. Like, they had the biggest differential in points for against in the NBA ever. Like, maybe we don't talk about this Thunder team maybe as much as you should. And they also, oh, by the way, they could win the championship. And I think they got 5 first-rounders in the next few years already because of previous trades. Like, they're going to be able to get some other good young players into the mix here or trade them for someone else. But I love it. It's mostly drafting and developing. Now, obviously, they traded Paul George to get to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which obviously worked out really well for them. So we'll see. But the Oilers and the Panthers tonight, the Oilers, Brian, I want to get to, because we got texts already coming in at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. I want to get your thoughts on the overtime goal and Bouchard. Did he make that wrong of a read on the because it starts, if Ekholm, it's the old adage, don't miss wide of the net, right? Because it comes up that side. Yeah. What did you see on Bouchard on that play?
Well, Ekholm, obviously, if he gets that, obviously, he comes back to the bench, gets a whole bunch of high fives. If that's what he's seen, you gotta, you're gonna take what you see. And I think Bouchard, on the other hand, he's paid and has the ability, and there's not many of them, to kind of make a read, whether it's you're gonna keep the puck in or he's got an offensive gifted mind. And yeah, I don't. I was talking to a guy in the gym, a gentleman in the gym this morning, who wasn't a Bouchard fan. And I'm like, these guys, like, you don't realize how good he is and how his thinking and his mind is at just a completely different level than anyone else, that the Oilers have on the back end. And yeah, he was coming back. I seen a guy that was coming back and seen that Draisaitl had a better angle. And then his angle wasn't as good as Draisaitl's, and wasn't even, the harder he worked, wasn't going to put him in a better position to defend it. I think it would have pushed him more away from the line of going towards the net, looking for a rebound. Right. Mm-hmm. So I was actually kind of surprised when I seen a tweet and someone was, calling out Bouchard. I watched it and I was like, there's nothing wrong. I mean, he just,
Campbell in
he wasn't
going
to catch him.
All that I learned, because what Twitter sometimes does is can expose you for showing what you don't know. Trust me, I've done it a few times. But on the Ken Campbell and everybody at Hockey News, oh, look at Bouchard. Like, he goes, oh, Evan Bouchard had a few assists. Doesn't even mention that he had a goal. The guy had 3 points in a period. Like, it's like ties an NHL record. And he makes an instant read on a play in the offensive zone that's not even a major gaffe. right? Like that's not a major gaffe, that read of that play in the offensive zone. And on the back check, you were bang on. Like I always teach, everybody's this work harder. Yeah, that's what people say who don't want to work smarter. Evan Bouchard was not going to catch Leon Draisaitl, who was ahead of him to try to catch Marchand. So his job at that point is to look around and make sure he's going to be covering the rebound and the guy coming in late isn't going to get it. That's his job, is it not? You're a defenseman.
No, actually, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think that, Bouchard, like I said, is on a different level. He's very calculated on what he does. And, there's some players, and Bouchard's probably one of those guys that has a little bit of that nonchalant demeanor to him, right? And I think as fans and watch, we're kind of like, well, is he working? And then you got another guy that, their jersey's flapping in the wind and they look like they're working, and they are working hard, right? But they're not doing anything. They're not nearly accomplishing nearly as much as what Bouchard is actually doing. So I think it was a read that he made. I think it was the right read, and I don't think he was going to catch him. He read that Draisaitl in the angle, and so yeah, I don't have an issue with Bouchard. If anything, I think Bouchard in the playoffs here, coming into the playoffs, has really elevated his defensive game and his overall game.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you wholeheartedly. I think it's a great example for people. You don't need both of you. If you're not going to, and even if you're side by side with Draisaitl, that's not putting more pressure on Marchand. At that point, you're not gaining anything, and you go back. And if there's somebody coming close and they get the rebound, then everybody's freaking out. Well, why aren't you doing it? Once you realize that Draisaitl has the better chance to catch the guy, then you revert back to I don't know. He lets people see letting up as not trying, and that's not the case because thinking's part of the game.
Yeah, I mean,
if he's the first guy back, Brownie, and he lets up, that's a different story.
100%.
Right? But even then, if you're like 6 feet behind the guy and you're not going to catch him. Now, some will say optically, you just got to go. Or do you even at that point say, well, now I'm going to think about the rebound?
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to think about, a trailer. You're starting to think of, the next play. So, you're not just going to put her in cruise control. You're going to come back and you're probably going to look over your shoulder and assess the situation. But you definitely want to make sure that you're in a position that you're coming back and you're picking up any loose garbage.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there could be loose garbage. Maybe he spins off him and you're able to defend as a second layer. But, yeah, I mean, you're asking these guys to, they're making these reads in a split second as well.
Right?
Yeah. And, I think for a split second there, because it was such a bang play, I think, with that shot coming around, I think he might have thought, because he got a little bit wide, that there was maybe an opportunity for, a rim to keep it in, keep it alive. And,
once you make that decision,
you're
right, like you can't, like you're literally, it's a split second decision. Ekholm's rifling whatever it was, 92 mile an hour. You're trying to read in a split second where that puck is coming off the boards.
Yeah. Because
the last thing you want to do is Bouchard is to leave the zone when you could have had the puck stayed in, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a hard decision in a split second to make. And hey, breaks happen. And it's not an awful decision. I don't believe. Like, I guess let's play what if scenario. What would it been the best for him to just vacate the zone right away the minute the shots miss? Is that best case scenario?
No, I don't think you can. I
Okay.
think he has to stay in there.
Okay.
They had full control. Yeah. I mean,
and once he chooses to stay in, he can't really knock down that path.
Exactly. And it's kind of like a game of mistakes. I mean, it's amazing watching the game. And I mean, watching look how fast it is, and look at the decisions that they're making, on TV, or if you're able to watch it. I mean, it is amazing to me with how quick they are at taking away time and space, having good body positions, having good sticks, that they're able to make the plays that they're making is just amazing. And they're just, they're continually doing it on both sides. It's like a chess game out there, right? Who's going to make that final, who's going to make that final mistake that could cost you?
Hey guys, I agree that it was a mistake. Thus, he should only make $9 million to benefit the Oilers long term. Hashtag sarcasm, which is true. Hey, I get it. Hey, do you think that one play could lower his AAV? Because you know what, makes a lot of really good plays, and that's why to focus on that. I get it's an overtime, but I don't even think it's a major mistake. I really don't. I don't think that's a major mistake by Bouchard. And Brownie, as you explained, is a guy who played defense in the NHL. When you're back checking there, and the other guys, your teammates ahead of you, your responsibility then is to pick up the trailer. not to keep going 1,000 miles an hour to accomplish nothing.
But we're also asking these guys that, have this elite mindset, skill set to also play outside of the box, because more often than not, those guys have the ability to make plays that many other guys can't, right? And with that, you have to understand that they're not perfect and mistakes are going to happen. You're just hoping that their reads and their skill set, because more often than not, they make the proper read and call. Yeah. But that's the benefit and the gift of having those guys, and sometimes it doesn't always work out.
When we return, Laddie Schmid will join us. We'll talk some Oilers. We got David Dwork joining us from the Florida side of things. They're going to make a lineup change today. Kevin Woodley in 320. We got Speck from Florida. We got lots of texts coming into. We'll get to the Oil Report. We'll hear from Knobloch. Also, a few other members of the Oilers. A 2-minute warning from Tate on a busy Monday afternoon. And of course, it is game day, game 3, the Oilers and the Florida Panthers. Your place to watch the game. Jasper Ave 118th here at On the Rocks. They do have the pink pony jugs. Of course, they will be going again tonight. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We'll return with Schmieder.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing, taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's 2 things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Mr. Ruther toasts the newlyweds. A relationship is like a hot water tank. It brings warmth, but only if you start with a spark. Your love is the pilot light, and the burner is your love growing from that tiny spark. And the anti-corrosion anode rod is the sacrifices you make for each other to keep things from getting all gross and crusty. May your love last as long as a Mr. Ruther workmanship guarantee. For life.
For a plumber you'll keep for life, call Mr. Ruther.
You have a choice, and it's a hard one. GMC employee pricing or 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick. A hard choice, but also super awesome. Get GMC employee pricing on our Sierra lineup, from the Sierra half-ton to the heavy duties. If you have cash, get discounts over $12,000 on many of our Sierras, along with GMC pricing. Or choose 0% financing on our Sierra half-ton lineup. And what a great selection of GMC Terrains and fabulous Buick SUVs to pick from. So many choices. But one thing's for sure, you are getting the best deal at Wolf GMC Buick.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Work hard, get dirty, build better communities. If that sounds like a good day's work to you, GS Construction wants you to be part of their team. Right now, GS Construction is looking to hire experienced top men and pipe layers for underground sewer and water work. So if you know your way around a trench, take pride in doing the job right, and want to be part of a crew that has your back, let's get to work together. Apply now at gsconstruction.ca.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadians for $5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, specials start 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksyeg.com.
Football is back at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth. Cheer on your green and gold as we kick off the excitement with the ultimate celebration. Thursday, June 19th, Edmonton versus Montreal. Home opener tickets at GoElks.com. Game day sponsored by Edmonton International Airport. Go Elks!
Goodbye, Mr. Singh.
Hey, honey.
Hi, Mom. I'm just leaving school now.
Okay, thanks for calling. I'll see you soon.
Mom, I'm home.
Oh, wow, that was fast. The Alberta government is building 90 new schools across the province, giving more kids a chance to walk to school. Learn more at alberta.ca/schools-now. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Man, that was perfect.
More than perfect. I got my PSA blood test results. No alarm bells, no concerns.
Fantastic. Now you got me thinking.
If you're a man over 40, get the test and monitor your prostate health. Early detection is critical in the fight against prostate cancer. Detected late, it can be a different story. Get tested. Ride worry-free. Donate or register for the Edmonton Motorcycle Ride for Dad this Saturday at ridefordad.ca.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We return Monday afternoon, Sports 1440, sports14.ca. And of course, is the Jason Gregor Show, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, coming to you live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street, to your place to watch all the Order games. And tonight, of course, you got the Pink Pony jugs on special, in honor of Zach Hyman. Of course, you get wing specials all throughout the show, so check it out. Jasper Ave and 118th Street. Highly recommend getting here early if you want to get a great seat. So the Oilers are in Florida, and we will find out officially at puck drop if, or I guess in warm up, Nugent Hopkins going to play. My guess is he'll play, but you never know. Obviously, he's got something lingering. He was getting treatment. He because of there was a little delay there today. He actually didn't even speak because he needed to get his treatment done, and there was some confusion, so he didn't speak today. But the fact that he was going to, and then he went for treatment, obviously he's got something wrong with him. We'll see what it is. Now let's get to the playoff report. Brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Employee pricing is on now at GMC, and get up to $12,000 off a 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Denali Ultimate, only GMCCanada.ca. As a former NHLer, Ladislav Schmid joins us. Schmieder, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Jason?
Oh, myself and Brownie, we're pretty good. We're just we're ready to go.
Hey, laddie.
Give me your thoughts on what you would do as a defenseman to try to get a little bit cleaner out of the zone here against this ferocious forecheck of the Panthers.
Oh man, that's a tough question. Get the close support. Get back as quick as possible to the pucks with the close support, and keep it simple. You don't have to, you just have to be kind of like pushing the pucks in the right areas. You're not gonna have much time to make spectacular plays. When you look at Florida, they punt a lot of pucks, which at first I wasn't sure about, but if they're trying to relieve the player pressure and kind of get rid of the forecheck and stay safe, it kind of works because, you're just going 100 miles per hour at the puck. And when the puck is out of the zone, you have to stop and go back. Kind of wears you down over time. So I'm not a huge fan of getting rid of the puck that much, even though I basically my whole career was off the glass out, but
hey, yeah. Well, that doesn't mean that others should do it, right?
Exactly. But just get back to the pucks, know your options, but keep it simple. Less time you spend in your zone, more time you spend on the other hand, but yeah, and obviously you cannot be, scared to going back for pucks, and sometimes you're gonna have to take a big hit to make a play. That's part of it. But I think Oilers have been doing pretty good job. The second game I thought it got a little complicated. In my opinion, they were trying to make too many passes before they entered the zone, and it ended up being some turnovers and the puck, back in our zone, and then you have to break the puck out. Eliminate one or two of the extra passes and just get it in their zone as soon as possible, because I think that's where they're a little bit vulnerable against Oilers and against Oiler attack. Oilers are at their best when they're just buzzing in the offensive zone, and I don't know, not many teams can contain them if it's gonna be wave after wave. So that's my thought on that.
Laddie, what are your thoughts on, obviously Florida's identity is a hard forechecking, hard to play against, get in on the forecheck. And you've played against lots of teams that, when they do that, if you start giving up, giving pucks away or holding on to it and giving them more reason to continue with their forecheck, how do you feel like the Oilers have handled their forecheck to this point?
I honestly pretty good. You have two games that they were decided in overtime, and let's be honest, those are two best teams left in the game right now. There's no question about that. And Florida, they're like you mentioned, their identity is being super aggressive. They read of each other on a forecheck. They really close the gap. They know against top notch skilled teams, you got to take away time and space. Everybody knows that they are doing a tremendous job. It's nothing flashy. They just do a lot of basic things really, really well. And they're very predictable and consistent in their system for each other. You cannot play in their cards, trying to do something extra. Don't make it one-on-one hockey. That's what Florida wants. They want to close you off, man on man kind of. It's almost like man on man. So just, put the pucks in the right area where your teammate can retrieve it, or like I said, close support, but play fast, high tempo, like the Oilers have done throughout the playoffs. They made Vegas and Dallas look pretty slow because of the puck movement, but the quickness. They were very aggressive. Like I said, it didn't take them that much time to get the puck in the O-zone, and I think that's their biggest. That's their biggest strength, just playing in the O-zone. But, like I said, skip the one or two extra passes. That's what Florida wants. They wanna get close and they're really good at reading the play. They obviously they watch the video on the Oilers, so there's no secret. So just keep it, in my opinion, simple. Make it easy on yourself. Don't spend that much time in your zone and the neutral zone. Just get it in their zone, and that's where Oilers, I think, can do the most damage.
And so sticking with the Panthers and their identity as far as being physical, and they have the players to do it. And the Oilers, have done a great job matching that with Kane, Frederick, and Podkolzin. What's the danger of a physical team looking for hits and trying to be overly physical?
Well, the danger, I don't want Oilers to buy into their crap. That's what Florida wants, right? They obviously they're not going to change anything. And for me, it's you want your team to be physical, but I think Florida is getting away, and I don't want to be crying. I criticize the officiating from the beginning of the playoffs on both sides. It's not just for Oilers or Florida. Throughout the playoffs, I'm not very happy with the officiating. It's very inconsistent. And Florida is getting away with a lot of stuff. And you have to, once in a while, you have to answer the bell. You have to be physical. But buying into their crap, those little scrums, those mouthwashes and stuff, just stay away from it. There's going to be a time, if they're going into the goalie, you have to send a message. You have to send a message, because it's not by accident that Sam Bennett is going to the net and always around the goalies. He does it on purpose. So you have to send a message. But after every whistle, to buy into their crap and the extra chirping and stuff, no, stay away from that. Just play hockey, play the way that made you successful and made get you to the finals. Because if we're gonna buy into their stuff, this tripping stuff, that's what they want. They throw you over your game. That's exactly what they want. So for me, it's staying away from those little scrums that, pretty much after every single whistle.
Vladislav Schmid joins us as we talk Oilers and Panthers. Schmid, there's some talk about maybe, I know because of practice nurses with Bouchard, you had Ekholm and Klingberg, Wallman and Kulak. Now, we've seen Paul Coffey. He switched up the D pairs at all the time. Heck, for the first 8 or 9 games, they're basically just playing 5 defensemen when Ekholm was out and Stetcher wasn't playing, and Emerson played about 5 minutes. So these guys are used to playing with each other. Would you switch the D pairs, or now that Ekholm's back healthy and looking good, would you keep him and Bouchard together?
I would just keep them together. I don't like it's just a one loss in double overtime, to be honest. I think Ekholm and Bouchard are very familiar with each other. I thought Wallman and Klingberg played very well. Same with Kulak and Nurse. I don't think there's need to be switched. Like if during a game you want to switch something up, like you said, they're familiar with playing, with whoever, you can do it in the game. But like I would go into the game with the same deepers. I don't think there should be any panic. I know the series is 1-1. It could have been 2-0. It could have been 2-0 for Florida, but it's 1-1. And for me, it doesn't make a big difference if you're playing on the road or at home. Both teams are very, very solid on the road. It's been extremely close for me. I would just stay with the same deepers. That's me personally, though.
Now, and Brownie, you can answer after Schmieders. Both of you guys play defense. So Sam Bennett right now is public enemy number 1, and rightfully so. Toronto fans hate him. Carolina fans hate him. Oilers fans hate him. He's right around the net, and he's learned how to fall, and I use that in quotations, on goaltenders, right? Leans into him, falls. So if you're a defenseman, obviously you don't want to take a penalty. And but at the same time, like you can't get too focused on Bennett and then not do your job. How would you approach it if you're, Bennett's lining up beside you in front of the net? What are you doing as a D-man?
Oh man, that's a tricky question, because with the rules now, you cannot really break his back or rip his head off. But just try to. Like, I know it's easier said than done because the game develops so quickly. But trying to box him out as best as you can without taking penalty. But man, honestly, if he goes to the goalie and he falls and trying to hit him, I think for me that's a green light. I don't know. Like I would even take 2 minutes. Like obviously you don't want to do it in a bad time of the game, but at some point you need to send a message, and it needs to hurt him. Like I don't know if there is bunch of players involved, just fall on him, and you can do some damage. I'm not saying to hurt him, but you need to keep him away from the goalie, because it's getting dangerous. He injured
Stolars,
right? Yep. And at first everybody was like, oh, was it intentional or not? And then he goes and does the same thing against Carolina on Anderson. Now he did it on Stu Skinner. So there's a pattern. And if the officiating is not doing anything, or NHL is not addressing the issue, so you have to do something, on the ice. Try to, like I said, try to keep it clean. Try to box him out, away from the goalie. But like I said, at times he's going to get inside, because like I said, the game develops so fast. It's going to happen. If he does it, you need to send a message. That's just my opinion. I know back in the day, if he does that, and I don't know, I just saw Jason Smith. Can you imagine what Jason Smith would do to him if that would happen 15, 20 years ago? It wouldn't be pretty. It would be mayhem. But like I said, the rules have changed. It's difficult, but you still have to protect your goalie.
Yeah. You bring up Jason Smith. I mean, there's another player that played for keeps and was mean, right? And Sam Bennett is playing his game. He's mean, he's aggressive, and he's going to, accidentally on purpose do what he's doing. I think, you got, as a defenseman, be a little bit, try to stay ahead of the play, right? You're going to try and box them out, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you can eventually they're going to get to the net, but if you can recognize it early, you're just trying to delay a little bit. But I guess for me, once he gets in that position, I'm probably not going to engage him a whole lot because there's not going to be a whole lot of space in between you and the goalie, and he's going to be right on the edge, right? So you're probably,
and if you push him, he's
looking for that.
Yeah.
That's what he wants.
Yeah,
That's what he
he's looking
wants,
for that, yeah.
right? So you can't give him that. Once he gets there and gets that space, you know, like you said, Laddie, there's no cross-checking. There's not a whole lot you can do in today's game other than front the guy, be aware where the puck is. And now, you know, instead of one guy defending or screening the goalie, now you got two guys. So you're going to look to try and front, right, block down the puck. The last thing you want to do is give him what he wants once he gets there. But you got to be calculated in your own game on when to box out and how dirty, and find those little ways that you can inflict some pain, or what Laddie or a Jason Smith did back in the day. He was very, very physical at the right times.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Both of you coach. And, you know, there's not many guys who have the desire to go to the net as often as Bennett, right? And then be big enough and strong enough that you can take the punishment, because there is still some, not the same as there was 15 years ago. But it's interesting how, so you look and say, well, geez, maybe the Oilers, you know what, you got to match tit for tat. Trent Frederick, Pod Coles, and Kane, like, they got bigger bodies on each line. Like, maybe you got to start getting it. Like, Bobrovsky's a smaller goalie than Stuart Skinner. Do you feel Edmonton's got to maybe get a little bit more around Bobrovsky here?
But I agree 100%. But this goes back to, like, this guy is playing a game he's very comfortable in playing. Like, this is his identity, right?
Exactly.
And I think he has a line that's a little, you know, his line is a little different than Kane's. Would you agree?
Yeah,
right?
no, that's
and
probably
so
fair.
I think the key. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, for me is, like, when he falls down, you got to wait for those opportunities. I mean, Laddie, I'm assuming you did the same thing, but when guys would fall down, well, now you're falling down with your forearm in his neck, on his throat. You know, your stick is in his mouth.
Don't try this at home, kids. Don't try this at home. But we're talking the NHL. Yeah. Sign up for Sean Brown and Laddie Speeds. How to take out guys in front of the net. 101.
In my head, guys. I can picture it in my head. But yeah, obviously, but like there is ways to inflict pain. Like, you don't have to make it obvious. And I'm not saying, like, obviously, if there's kids listening, you don't want to do it too much. But if there is a guy like that, like I say, you have to send a message. But I agree with Brownie. You have to be smart about it. It cannot be, like, out there in the open, you know, very visible. But the guys have played in the NHL for a while. Like, I you know, those guys on the back end, they have some tricks up their sleeve. But you need to keep him away from the goalie as much as possible. And on the other side, I think we need to get more to Bobrovsky, but do we really want to, you know, do what Bennett is doing? And like, are those guys that you mentioned, like, they're playing hard, they're playing the right way, but are they as comfortable as Bennett is going to the net and doing that to Bobrovsky? Like Brownie said, like, his line is somewhere else. Like, every guy's got that line, you know, different. I don't think those guys would be comfortable, and maybe if they would do it, they would get a penalty because it would be too visible. Bennett is so good at it.
Oh,
like,
yes.
half of the time you don't even see what he's doing, but, like, like, quick clip, like, you know, like chicken wing or whatever, stick in Stu's pads, and nobody even sees it. Like, you know, like, he's just very comfortable. When it comes to that skill, he's one of the best at that in the NHL.
And, like, honestly, he's been around the net maybe twice. Right? Once was the goal. Once was a penalty. But he scored 3 goals. Like, I'll tell you this, all the Oilers fans who hate Sam Bennett, if he was on their team, they'd be loving him. Right? Like, it's big plays hard. You know, he's scoring big goals for you. I have no issue with it at all. So, but to me, they're like, now when you start falling on guys' legs, hey, I get why they're saying, hey, and it was a penalty. So I'm not sure what else you want. People, like, he got called for a penalty. And I'll tell you right now, I would assume, and Laddie, you played, like, the refs, they're supposed to come into every game with a clear conscience, right? You just want to focus on the game. But you can't tell me the officials won't be watching to see how he does and what he does around the net tonight.
Well, they should. And you know what? Like, everybody talks about Sam Bennett. Like, don't get, like, I know Sam. He's a great kid, great guy. Like, you know, this might sound weird, but I know what he went through in Calgary, and it took him a while to get his feet going in the NHL. Now he's, you know, really good player, and, like, I'm happy for him. He's on the other side, so now obviously he's the enemy for me. But the referees, like I'm just waiting for that one referee who's gonna call him and maybe give him a, you know, like, if he's trying to hurt the goalie, give him a higher, you know, bigger penalty, give him 2+10 or something intentional or major. I don't care. But send the message. Like, if this has just been going on from start of the playoffs, and nothing, he got maybe 1 or 2 interference penalties, but he took out one, or maybe did he take out Anderson too? I'm not sure.
Well, he caught it. The
was
Anderson
pretty
wasn't
close.
the Anderson one. I didn't like. To me, I actually thought that was just like, kind of bang bang play. It wasn't like I thought the Skinner one. I thought like he smartly fell on Skinner. But here's the thing, like, it's the old adage. There's a line, right? And so I think Sam Bennett's like, hey, guess what? I wasn't getting called on it. The first goal, they didn't call me on it. So the second time, now he fell on the goalie. He got called. I'm going to guess that Sam Bennett doesn't just fall on a goalie tonight. That's going to be my guess. I think he realized, okay, there's the line. Now the refs told me what it is. I won't fall on him. Yeah.
Well, I hope. Well, it cost them, right? The Oilers score a goal on that one, so it caused them. So maybe, but honestly, I would be shocked if he would change anything in this game.
Oh no, I think he'll be right there. I just don't know if he'll fall.
But
he'll look for the reason to fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, like exactly. Brownie said it. Like, if he's gonna feel just a little bit of contact, he'll do it again. It's just, the game is so fast. It's just in his DNA. It's his identity. I don't think he even thinks about it. As soon as he's around the net and he's gonna feel that cross check or that little push, he's going down. Like, I think he doesn't even think about it that much.
Yeah, well, he's been ultra effective, set an NHL record most road goals in one playoff year this year, which is amazing for him. Quickly, Barkov and Sam Reinhart have really been quiet in this series. They're actually negative players. Forsling and Ekblad, the same thing. If you're Paul Maurice, do you stick with that matchup against McDavid, or do you think he'll go to Jones and Mikkola a little bit more against McDavid tonight?
Whew. That's a tough one. Tough one. I would be shocked if he would switch anything. Like, I think from what I see from Paul Maurice, I think he likes to stick with the same players and kind of give them that boost of confidence. Hey, you got us here, and I trust and believe in you, and I'm gonna put you out there again. That's my gut.
Probably
feeling.
makes sense. Yeah.
I know. Hey, let's be honest. How hard is it? I said it before. I'm so happy I'm out of the league. I don't have to face players like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. It's ridiculous. They make the best players in the world look silly. But like I said, hey, Florida is in the finals for a reason. Those guys are a huge reason that they're there for a third consecutive year. So I would be shocked if Paul Maurice goes and hey, after being 1-1, 2 overtimes, I would be shocked if he goes and kind of switches things up, because as a player, when I think about it, if that happens in this this late in the season, how important these games are. If that happens, he switches it up and kind of, takes you from your assignment and puts you on number a 2 unit to shut down the Oilers. I think that somewhere in your mind is gonna be what is happening? Am I playing that bad? That doubts are in your head, and that's really hard to get rid of them. So he's a smart guy. He's been around for a long time. He's well liked, I guess, in Florida and in Florida locker room. So I would be shocked if he changes it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Schmieder, great stuff, buddy. Enjoy the game tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much. You too, guys. Hey, let's go Oilers. Thanks for having me.
There you go. That's Ladislav Schmid. Of course, he's on every Thursday with Kevin Carius in the morning. Quick break. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street, your place to watch the game. Tonight is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We'll go to Florida next as they make a lineup change.
You got it. Go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired.
Yeah, waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, sports1440.ca. As of course, we are 3.5 hours away from puck drop tonight. Game 3, the Oilers and the Panthers. And this has been a hell of a series, man. Are you kidding me? Very little separating these two teams. It's 1-1. Each team scored 8 goals. Both games have went to overtime. The only difference is one game needed double overtime. The first one ended with 31 seconds left in OT, so it has been pretty close. Florida has controlled the second period in both games. Edmonton's had they've liked their starts. Although they did trail at one point. The Oilers both times have come back in the third period. That's good news. The bad news is they've trailed going into the third period. So I think they're going to want to. Figure that out here starting tonight. Ideally, you don't want to be trailing in the after going into the second period all the time. Florida hadn't lost a game up until game 1, and then the Oilers did tie, but of course ultimately lost in overtime. So it's not a great odd that you're putting yourself in if you're going to be like, hey, let's go into the third period trailing. Doesn't mean you quit if you're trailing tonight, but I don't think you want to keep doing that if you're the Edmonton Oilers. And now let's get to In the Room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Take action on your savings right now. If you're thinking about it, solar, you're like, oh, geez, look, it's sunny outside. It's sunny like 20 hours of the, well, maybe 19 and a half right now. So you get a lot of sun, lowers your bills, and they'll hook you up, actionelectrical.net. As we go out to Florida, and we are joined reporter for the Florida Panthers from Hockey News, David Dwork, joins us. And Dave, I guess let's start with, I know some people might say, he's just a fourth liner, but AJ Greer brings something to this lineup that they're going to really like on their fourth line.
Yeah, they really like the combination of physicality, speed, and skill that AJ Greer brings. It's kind of that whole fourth line. It's a combination of guys that aren't afraid to throw the body around, but can still put the puck in the net. And right now, as you guys, I'm sure you probably mentioned, game 2, I believe Paul Maurice used his fourth line. 2 of the 3 guys played under 10 minutes, a game that went almost 5 periods. So you would think that with Greer going back out there, a group that he really liked throughout that Carolina series, you're going to see a bit more ice time from them tonight. At least that'll be the idea.
Now, Maurice joked, of course, we're going to cut him about Barkov because, Barkov's numbers are un-Barkov-like. It's only 2 games in this series. But even Gustav Forsling against the Oilers last year in the Cup final got outscored 8-4, and he's getting outscored again. Now, I know he plays a lot against McDavid, but Jones and Mikkola have been unreal. Do you think at all he'll consider it? Because we're coming up to 10 games now head-to-head between these 2 teams. And the Oilers, especially McDavid, against Forsling and Ekblad, he's had their number.
I'd be surprised a little bit more if Paul would mess with the defensive pairings. He usually has left those intact for the most part. The forward lines he'll mess around with a little bit, and maybe he'll move another wing. Maybe he'll flop like Verhaeghe and Rodriguez, because Mo loves his pairings. Barkov and Reinhart have been a pairing for the last couple of years now, just like Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk, just like Anton Lundell and E2 Luostarinen. So I wouldn't, if he's going to make any moves, he's probably going to keep those 2 guys together, the Selke pair. But, as you said, it is something to keep an eye on just because while Barkov has been fine defensively, his offensive numbers aren't there. And while Forsling, he's struggled. His numbers aren't great, but some of the plays he made, shutting down rushes and opportunities in game 2, I'm pretty sure that they're pretty happy with the way he's playing there. It'll be interesting to see, Gregor, just that the matchup game stays the same now that Ford is at home, just because, as you mentioned, that top pairing of Forsling and Ekblad got abused. Game 1 particularly, they cleaned it up a bit in game 2, but the way that Paul Maurice puts out his lines and pairings after faceoffs is something that I'm going to be watching very closely tonight, just to see if there's any difference from game 2.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect him to. Maybe I didn't word that right. I didn't mean switch the pairings up, not the actual rotate your lines. I meant will we see Jones potentially and Mikkola get a few more minutes against McDavid, because Jones he's been great 5-on-5, hasn't been on the ice for a goal against. He's been on the ice for 4 goals for. That line's been good. The Bennett line, obviously Sam Bennett has been front and center almost every shift, it seems, in this series. What do you make of Tkachuk? And obviously he's hurt, right? Or he's not 100%, whatever you want to say, coming off the injury, because especially the longer that game went on, David, in both game 1 and 2, he got less effective in overtime, which is to me a sign of here's a guy who's maybe getting shot up for something and it starts to wear off as the game goes on, or he just, because he looked way less effective the longer the game went.
Yeah, I think especially if you compare postseason over postseason, he's been much less noticeable throughout the playoffs this year. And he's had his good points, and he's had games where he has 2 or 3 points and everything. But no, you're spot on with that. He's not himself at all. He's definitely not close to 100%. Now, being Matthew Tkachuk, being the guy he is, he can still impact the game in a lot of ways. But in terms of the unicorn that Bill Zito and Paul Maurice love to put out there in a lot of different situations, we're not seeing it as much. And I'm not going to say what you just said, although I will agree with you a little bit that as the deeper the game goes on, you are noticing him less and less. And I'm sure there's a pretty reasonable reason behind that we're not going to find out for another week or 2.
David, do you have a stronger opinion either way on either team, and maybe individually or as a team as this series goes on in game 3 here?
An opinion in terms of
just maybe on, where you think who's going to come out on top, or in something that you maybe didn't see in game 1?
I think what surprised me about this series is how we're not talking about bad defense with all the goals that have been scored. We're not talking about bad goaltending with all the goals that have been scored. I think it's been one of the best. I'm probably not answering your question very well, and I apologize, but I think it's just been an amazing series so far. Other than what Jason and I were just talking about with the matchups, I don't know how much we really can expect to change at this point, just because both teams have been pretty happy, I think, for the most part, with the way that they've played. It's just been 2 juggernauts going at each other. So I'm more in the mode right now of fan with popcorn than I am of analyst, just because it's been such a fun series to take in. So I'll be interested to see how it plays out. But I don't know. I've just been very entertained to this point, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's been fun.
Did the Panthers talk at all about, it's Captain Obvious here against the Oilers power plays. Maybe you want to take fewer penalties. I don't know if you want to take 6 penalties most night. Now, Edmonton helped them by taking 2 penalties of their own when they're on the power play, so that cut it short. But, Florida, they live on the edge, Dave. They got to play aggressive. That's their whole identity, and it's obviously worked for them. They got the most wins of any team in the NHL for 3 years, and they're 3 shy from going back-to-back. So I don't know if it changes, but have they talked about like maybe you can take aggressive penalties, but you don't want to take undisciplined penalties. You don't want to give Edmonton's power play too many chances.
No, for sure. And there's a fine line between taking an aggressive penalty and playing smart for sure. But I don't think that they're going to want to take anything away from the way that they play every game. They just have to try to be smart about it. Now, it's another animal when you're facing the Oilers because they have speed that many teams do not possess, and it's a lot harder for them to keep up. But I wouldn't think that Paul Maurice is going to ask any of these guys to tone it down. I mean, the penalty that killed them in game one was delay of game over the glass penalty. Yeah. The Sam Bennett penalty was, we're all talking about that a little bit. And then Edmonton scored like this. That was the one that Connor McDavid made that ridiculous play to set up Draisaitl. So, I mean, yeah, obviously, ultimately, staying out of the box against a team like Edmonton is something that you want to do. But the way that Florida employs their penalty kill is going to be something else. Because the first 4 PKs in game one, Florida was much more condensed, much less aggressive than we're used to seeing. And that overtime power play, all of a sudden, the aggression came back and they scored like that. So it's something definitely that I'm curious to see if they continue to be the aggressive PK that they've been all year, or if they're going to try to tone it back a little bit and let Edmonton work the outside. Because, I mean, as we saw in that game one power play goal, even when they're working the outside, they're just trying to get that little 2-on-1 edge wherever they can in the zone. So I think ultimately, and again, yeah, you're like you said, it's kind of the easy thing to say, but stay out of the box.
Has Nate Schmidt been watching Bobby Orr videos before this playoff started? Like, he's having an unreal postseason. Like, he's made some great plays here in the final.
His confidence is through the roof right now. And I mean, you guys probably have met Nate Schmidt before, so you know that he's a very, boisterous guy, if I can come up with a better word. But he's having a blast right now. Paul Maurice is giving him kind of full range as long as he stays responsible to do his thing, just with all the defensemen, really. But no, to see Schmidt's confidence with the way that he's making plays, some of the passes that he's making, I think he has like 3 primary assists in the series already. So it's been really cool to see. And for a guy like Nate Schmidt, who's like so, what's the word I'm looking for? He's just very noticeable in the locker room. He's one of those guys, he kind of replacing like the Brandon Montours and the Nick Cousins that aren't there anymore. He's one of the guys that came in and kind of kept the volume up in the locker room. So to see one of those guys that everybody kind of loves to rally around, it's been really cool to see how well he's played in the final, not just offensively, but his defense has been pretty solid too.
And then what about, it's going to be a big summer here for Florida the next few weeks. Here we are, it's June 9th. We're like 3 weeks away from free agency. You got Bennett, you got Marchand, you got Ekblad. Can they get all 3 of them, Dave, or ultimately they have to pick 2 out of 3 based on cap?
That will depend on the players. They would like to keep all 3 for sure. And I know that there's obviously a lot of talk right now with Sam Bennett, and there's rumors that he may not even go to free agency. Like, we know he wants to stay here. We know what Bill Zito has done with past stars, whether it's Sam Reinhart, Gus Forsling, Carter Verhaeghe, guys that have signed recently very team-friendly deals because they want to stay in Florida. They want to give the team a little bit more asset to build on the outside. It's a great team setting that they've built. So it's going to come down to how much Bennett and Marchand and Ekblad want to stay. Now, we know Ekblad wants to stay very much. It's just going to be how little of a number is he going to be willing to take from Florida, because he'll definitely, like Sam Reinhart would have last summer, he'll get way more on the open market. So would Florida like to keep them? Definitely. I'm curious to see with Marchand particularly what kind of number he ends up taking. Because at this point in his career, he's kind of made it clear that he just wants to be happy. He wants to win. And he's getting all of that and more here in Florida, where he basically dictated where he wanted to go. So if each player wants to make it work, it can work. What I think is going to happen at this point is maybe Ekblad's the odd man out. But, when it comes to this team and the way that they've been got really loud. Sorry about that. The way that this team has been operating with Bill Zito the last few years, I wouldn't be terribly surprised to see him pull it off.
David, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the pregame and enjoy the game tonight. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yep. Take care, Jason. Take care, guys.
There you go. That's David Dwork joining us from Florida. And, I know people said, Sam Reinhart could have got way more in the open market. And I'm kind of like, he got 8.625 and he scored 80 points once in his career. Like, I don't know if he had a career year, 50 goals at the right time and everything, but I don't know if it was like, I saw some of the stat projections and people had him being at 8.5. Like, I look at Sam Bennett. Some people are talking 10 million. Like, it's the most there's no one reputable that's saying 10 million. I'm sorry. Okay. If you look at Sam Bennett, he's a 50-point player once in his career. Now he's having an unreal playoffs. Unreal. But I could see him, getting 7, maybe 7, but you're not paying and I know he's great in the playoffs this year. He's never been that highly productive. And I like Sam Bennett as a player here, but what's going to happen is he's going to sign in Florida for 7. People are going to say, see, huge discount, huge hometown discount. I'm like, no, it's because somebody put out 10 million and people believed it like it was a realistic number. Hey, this guy scored 50 points once. Yeah, but he's got 13 goals once in the playoffs. Now he's a $10 million player. Come on.
Well, he seems to be, I mean, with the cap going up, and he's a player that there aren't a lot of. Right?
Okay, but
and so, no, I know.
But what do you think he's going to get? You honestly think someone would pay him $10 million?
I don't know if they're going to pay 10 million, but if he wins another cup and he's won a cup, he's a winner. Do you overpay him? And
yeah, but how much?
And it becomes the next
like
GM's problem.
He's making 4.4.
Yeah.
What do you realistically think he would get?
Oh,
realistically.
Well, if
Sam Reinhart scored 50 goals and got 8.6. Gensel got 9 million and has scored 40 multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, but they're obviously different players, but there's that dynamic of a player, and with that skill set, there isn't, there's guys that score 50 goals, but there's not guys that are able to play a complete game and play with that type of, that style that makes, which is the style that seems to be successful if you want to win a Stanley Cup. So
you're just asking the question, what is he? What are you honestly going to pay him? I'm just pulling up a stat so you can see it. 50 points once, 40 points 3 other times. Like, that's it here. Like, he's been a 3-time 20-goal scorer. He's never scored 30 goals. And honestly, if he gets more than 7.5, I'll be stunned.
And the environment,
and that would be high.
Yeah, and the team that he plays on is also allowing him to have success.
Like, he's a good playoff guy. I will say that, right? Like, his last 3 years in the playoffs, this is not a one-off. Right? He's got 48 points in his last 58 games. So he's good in the playoffs. I will give him that, no problem. But I just think people need to be a tad, and it's no surprise. It's coming out of Toronto where their big guys never produce in the playoffs. So suddenly a guy produced in the playoffs. Well, let's overpay him. You overpaid guys in the past. That doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. Like, you can will Sam Bennett into thinking that he's going to take this playoffs and become a point-a-game player moving forward, but I'm going to hedge my bets pretty strong. Like, if he could become a 65-point player, that would be a great improvement.
But if he can continue to play as well as he's playing in the playoffs, like, that's what you're getting paid for, and that's what you need.
And he's a second-line guy, right? He's not a first-line player. Like, honestly, he's a 7 mil, still a pretty big raise. And I love Sam Bennett. I'd play him on my team any day. But look at it. Does Sam Bennett play much different than Evander Kane?
Oh, yeah. I think so. I mean, I think there's the meanness to it, right? I think Evander Kane is very physical, and he's,
Kane chirps guys all the time.
Yeah, but there's more than just chirping, right? I mean, I don't see.
But Sam Bennett doesn't really fight. Like, is he that mean?
Okay,
I'll ask you a question.
Dirty.
Okay, but has he, and he's dirty a few times on a goalie. Has he been dirty on any other player in the series?
Not maybe this series as much as he has been. What they just knocked out? Didn't he knock out Marchand last year in last year's series? Like, he's a dirty player.
Oh,
There's not many guys like that actually.
Right. But are you going
that was the accidental elbow to the head.
So you're going to pay the guy. So you still haven't answered my question. What are you paying him? Just give me an answer. I don't know why this is so hard.
I don't, because I don't know all the comparables of what I would pay him.
Well, just say, what would you pay him? I've been giving you all the numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say probably 6.
Thank you.
6, 7.
Yeah. So 10 millions will grossly overpayment of anybody. So we're just reminding people, don't fall for the BS when Bennett signs and someone tries to tell you, see, it was a hometown discount for Florida, because it wasn't. Let's get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. Oilers and Panthers down in Sunrise. Game 3 of their best of 7. Puck drop just after 6 o'clock. We've got pregame coverage for you with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson coming up at 5 right here on Sports 1440. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, this one listed as a game time decision. Per coach and Knobloch for the Panthers, AJ Greer will make his series debut for Florida. Major League Baseball, Jays in action tonight, kicking off a series with the Cards. First pitch set for 5:45 from St. Louis. You also have the Cubbies and Phillies. Red Sox host the Rays, Atlanta in Milwaukee. The Padres and Dodgers, and the Mariners are taking on the Diamondbacks. And WNBA Commissioner's Cup, Sparks hosting the Valkyries. That gets going just after 8 o'clock. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine, and here another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Get ready to revolutionize your job site with Edmonton Kubota's game-changing compact construction equipment. From mini excavators and skid steers to track loaders, carriers, and utility vehicles, they have a model to fit every need, all powered by legendary Kubota diesel engines. These machines are built for performance and reliability. Transform your work with Edmonton Kubota's top-of-the-line compact equipment. Visit them today and see why they're the name you can trust for power and precision.
We've been waiting for this since preseason. It's playoff time, and Sports 1440 is your home for all things hockey. Kevin, Lowside, Jason, and the pre- and post-game shows with Andrew. So many reasons why we're Edmonton's sports leader.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store.
How are you? Welcome to Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X,
knowledgeable
Instagram,
staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Sports14.ca.
With all the news about tariffs and price hikes coming our way, you have to be strategic with your money. St. Albert Dodge knows that.
We continue on. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Sports 1440,
are
Oilers Nation.
available with 0% financing for up to 72 months. So think about it. You can get into a brand new Ram 1500 right now at pre-tariff prices, while selection is still good, and pay 0 interest on your financing. That keeps more money in your pocket. And that's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Are you tossing and turning at night, unable to sleep because of mounting debt? Debt can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to face it alone. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I'm here to guide you every step of the way so you can find peace of mind and finally rest easy. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book a free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely Monday afternoon as the Oilers are set to take on the Florida Panthers in game number 3 tonight. We don't know about lineup changes yet for the Edmonton Oilers. Maybe Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will be playing. I still think he's going to play, but we'll see what happens in warm-up. Chris Knobloch said he's going to warm up, and then they'll make the decision. Jeff Skinner would be the forward who comes in. Skinner did spend a little extra time out on the ice, according to those in Florida today. Usually a sign that you're not going to play, but as Brownie alluded to, that it's not like the practices have been taxing, so who knows, maybe he pushes himself just to make sure he's ready just in case, but we will find out. Now, if Nugent-Hopkins is out, that definitely changed a little bit of the strategy for Chris Knobloch. I think it might be a little bit more difficult to go to McDavid and Draisaitl early in the game, like a second period, when you don't have Nugent-Hopkins anymore. Now you got Henrique, you would have Frederick and Janmark as your other center options. So now it doesn't mean you can't do it, but I just wonder if maybe that slows that idea down a little bit. We'll see. But 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us in our inbox. It is the Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We do have lots of texts to get to, and I did want to look it up. AFP Analytics, they do a lot of projections on salary and everything. So during the break, I went and looked up, and he's a second line player, and they're projecting him between $6 to $6.6 million. His playoff style maybe goes more. To me, I could see him maybe, like I said, 7, maybe 7.5. But anything above that, I think, would be considered a payment. So if he signs for 7 in Florida, that's not a quote hometown discount. That's actually a pretty good value. Brownie, what do you think?
Oh, it's a great value, but I think the important thing too is he kind of is exactly what the Florida Panthers are, as far as if they were to lose him, right? He's exactly what they are. He skates, he's skilled, he's physical, he's aggressive on the puck. He's hard to play against, and that's kind of been the Florida Panthers' identity for a while now. And those guys, like I said earlier, they're just they're not they're not necessarily around as much as they used to be. And when you have those guys, they're valuable. You got to find a way to keep them. And, maybe if you got to overpay them a little bit, maybe extend an extra year, maybe that's something you kind of look at, hoping maybe the cap goes up, or maybe you're not even around as a GM to even, have to deal with that at some point. But he's a good player. And I think, when you get players, and that's what I like about him. And that's why, when Laddie made a good point, like that's his identity, and he's going to play. He can't change the way he plays, and that's what makes him so effective. You're not asking a guy to play a role, and a hard role at that, to be something or to do something he's not comfortable and willing to do. And that's what makes, I think, the Florida Panthers so valuable, is like, they bring in guys with an identity, and that's what they are, and they're not asking them to do something they're not uncomfortable or willing to do or haven't done.
Hey, boys, what's Panthers' home and away records in the playoffs? At home, they got the best. They're 9-3. The Oilers are second best at 6-3. The Oilers are 7-2 on home ice. The Panthers are 4-3 on home. Now, the Panthers have been a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. They've been shut out twice at home, but then they've spanked teams. They shut out Carolina. They beat Toronto 6-2. So, you know what? Hey, they could be dominant, as we've seen before. Now, the Oilers, they won Game 5 last year in Florida in a must-win situation. Then they lost a close-fought 2-1 game in Game 7. Game 1, I actually thought they outplayed him, but Bobrovsky was unreal in that game. So really, of their 3 games last year and 4 games last year in Florida, it was really only Game 2 I thought they didn't perform overly well. So I don't think Edmonton's going to be intimidated in this rink at all. I know people say, oh, you come back here, you'll always have memories of Game 7. It's probably not going to be the best memories. Let's be realistic. It isn't for fans, so I can only imagine it would be like tenfold for the players. But Edmonton's shown they can play on the road. However, the road teams they played were not the forechecking team of the Florida Panthers, Brownie. And when you the home crowd, even though it's not as loud in Florida as it is in Edmonton, that's obvious. Probably not loud. Like, there's Montreal and not many other cities that compete with Edmonton in the playoffs. But When you look at Florida, the crowd's still loud, and you get in on that forecheck and you get on it, and it becomes a little bit like you played in games, Brownie, like when the home crowd gets into it and all of a sudden the team's really rolling. Momentum, it's hard to describe it, but you can feel it good or bad, right? Like you can kind of feel when the other team's got it. And like in the second period here in Edmonton, the Panthers had momentum both times.
Yeah, you can. I mean, that's going to be the key, I think, to tonight's game is the fact that they're going to have a push and they're going to be excited and the crowd's going to be behind them. And, any forechecking or team that checks well and you kind of, especially early, have to make those plays quick, and you have to make those plays, early and often if you want to get a forechecking team to kind of second guess or, to catch them, because, if you give them reason to come, if you start holding on to it and they start getting their hits, their licks and creating turnovers, that momentum, and you're just feeding into their game plan, and they're going to continue to come. So I think so much of today's game, in the first 5-10 minutes is just making sure that you're not giving them a reason to continue with the forecheck, continue with the hits, and, make the simple play early and get it out, maybe try and get them a little bit back on their heels, create a little bit more space, and set yourself up for the second and third period. But if they, they're a team that once they feel it and get in on the forecheck and get their hits, I've been in that situation. It's just like, I'm coming and I feel confident. I feel good. They're all, anytime you get a hit and you get a lick, especially early, and you start getting involved, emotionally into the game, it just makes it that much easier to play.
Hey, Greggs, what do they think Bouchard is worth? I've been saying this that's from Dean K. Well, Dino, I've been saying Bouchard, prepare yourself for a $10 million contract. That's what he's going to get. Now, they haven't updated this, but the last one they had, and I don't think it changes very much, they had Bouchard at 10.7. So that was before, the heater. Well, it's not really a heater because he does it every year in the playoffs. But so now that's just, that's a base. And I've looked at them in the past. There's very few that they miss on by like millions of dollars. If you say 6 and they give you a range, I think Bouchard's range was 10.2 to 10.7. So, it's $500,000 range. Now, is he going to come in at 8? No. Do I think he's going to come in at 12? I'd be very surprised. So, yeah, I've been trying to tell people, prepare yourself for a $10 million player. And now here's the thing though, Brownie. And I talked, this is one, and I want to ask this question, and maybe they shouldn't care, but you're Evan Bouchard, you're going to get paid a lot of money and you're going to deserve it. He's a really good player. There is certain numbers that just when people hear it, it changes their impression. It's like, oh, you're going to buy a shirt for $9.99. It's 1 cent less than $10, but people are like, oh, $9.99. Well, if I'm Evan Bouchard and I'm a 9.95 or 9.75 or $9.8 million player instead of 10.2 or 10.1, that's small difference when you consider after take-home pay and taxes and everything else. Just for the sake, because people will look and say, well, he's not a $10 million player. Right? Like, I wonder if that would ever creep into their mind when you get to that much, because I'm not talking to say, okay, go from not 10 million down to 9, which is $1 million difference. But when it starts with a 9 rather than a 10, even if it's 9.75, I think it will change people's impression. If Darnell Nurse was an $8.5 million player, people would look at him different.
Yeah, I mean, guys like, Vinny Darnay, right? There's contracts that you can sign that can kind of maybe take you out of the league, right? If Vinny stayed at, I don't know, what did he?
Well, he ended up signing for $2 million.
Yeah, maybe if he took a little bit less, right? Then all of a sudden now you're more valuable and you're in a position that can really help yourself and help the team and help the cap. I don't think Evan Bouchard, obviously is in a different category himself, he shouldn't take anything less than he feels that he's valued. He's put himself in a really good situation where he's one of the elite puck moving defensemen that can put up points. And, as long as you have, two of the best hockey players in the world playing, you need guys like Evan Bouchard that can make more than just the simple play, right? He can, he makes the plays and is able to give the puck to those skilled players in the right spots, and they all kind of feed and eat off of each other. So if he takes whatever 9 or 10, it does. So much of it is just, I mean, you start to, I think certain guys when they're making, Darnell Nurse, when they're making a certain amount of money, that, you're always going to be criticized, probably held to like maybe an unfair standard, right? And I think Bouchard's going to get to that point where he's going to have games and situations where you're going to be like, oh man, he's making too much money. I mean, the only two guys that I can think of, where people wouldn't have an issue with the salary and what they make are probably Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. They're just continually evolving and performing at such an elite high level that, but they're not human. They're not normal. Most guys kind of go through, their different types of struggles throughout a season. But, I really feel like, Bouchard sometimes, when you have something, you can kind of critique him and kind of devalue him because you see him so much. Right. And maybe, if
people remember, sadly, the negatives of a player more than the positives. Not everybody, but lots of people. Think about it. That he made, so even if you want to claim a mistake, and Sean in the first hour, from a defenseman's point of view, explained that no, he didn't give up on the play and all these things, and the read wasn't as terrible as people claimed. The guy had 3 points in the first period. No one even talks about it, right? 3 points. Wow, they would have lost the game without him. Oh, you think they would have been in overtime if he didn't have 3 points? No one talks about that. So it's an interesting dynamic when it comes to the evaluation. And so, because I always go back to this, the best advice I got from a scout is when you focus on what a player doesn't do, you miss all the things they do. And it's a great thing to look for as young kids that you coach. If you only focus on little Johnny, what he can't do, but you forget all the things he does do.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And obviously at the NHL level, same thing.
And they're bringing in guys to complement them, right? Just like any other team, right? I mean, he's got his strengths, and now you bring in an Ekholm. I mean, guys like Ekholm, and nothing against him, but it's easier to find those types of players than it is to find a Bouchard.
Oh, yeah, without question. 323, Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, through Sports 1440. When we come back, Kevin Woodley, we'll talk about goaltending. There's been 16 goals in this series. Goaltending, I think, has been fine. I think there've actually been some huge saves in the series. We'll talk about it. Is there any different approaches you see from the orders on their shots, attempts, and conversely for Florida? Coming up next, the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
McDonald's Sundays and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. You know, guys used to call me a plumber, and now they call you an AC repairman. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay. Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
New Trust Alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new Cheddar Crust Pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping Cheddar Crust Pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry, though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
At Fountain Tire, we're all about one thing: taking care of your vehicle. Oh, and your wallet. I guess that's 2 things. Save up to 20% off select tires until June 14th. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadians for $5.25. OTR's TVs, hey, they're so clear you'll see the puck better than the ref. That ain't hard, is it? And every game night during Edmonton's playoff run, specials start 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksyeg.com.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble!
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Kickstands up for a vital cause. The Edmonton Motorcycle Ride for Dad. Hi, it's Todd James, honorary ride captain. Now's the time to register for our big ride this Saturday, starting at Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku. We're raising funds and awareness in support of the Prostate Cancer Fight Foundation. Show your support by riding, donating, or volunteering. Advance registration just $40, 50 day of, and free with $100 in collected pledges. Details on the Ride for Dad Edmonton Facebook page.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated by the Kent family and celebrating 45 years. See all our rides at hdedmonton.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.327. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown, Connor Halley with you. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Sports1440.ca. The Gregor Show is always presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. It's a new month. Maybe you already wasted yours from last month. Well, it's never a waste, but you used it. You can get a new one. Gregor50. And remember, odds boosts on Oiler game days today at PlayAlberta.ca. As we are going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies that will safely take you or your group to your next destination. Book your ride at silentrides.ca. Heck, you're going for a big party with all your friends and everybody wants to get home safe and sound. Book your ride at Silent Rides. As Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joined us. Woodley, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm good. On the road today a little bit. Had to skate and couldn't quite get home in time, so I decided to pull over and brought the computer, was prepared for it, enjoying the sunshine here in Vancouver because we don't have much else to enjoy from a hockey perspective, although I guess we got the American Hockey League playoffs. So.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Abbotsford, they punched their ticket to the AHL Calder Cup Finals, so good luck there. Now, Kevin, we got 2 games that have been extremely entertaining. I think 2 games where we've had some great goaltending, despite being a total of 16 goals. Some people might be like, oh, that can't be good. I'm like, no, I actually think, the goaltending has been pretty good. What's your assessment? Do the numbers match my eye test that we've had pretty good goaltending despite the goals?
Yeah, pretty good. Really good at one end and just a little below average at the other. I mean, at the end of the day, every goal that Stuart Skinner has given up has been a high danger chance. And it kind of brings me back a little bit to the conversation we had in the LA series when he lost the job after 2. And it's like, hey, these are all like grade A's, and they haven't been like A++, but expected save percentage in the 869 range right now through 2 games for Stuart Skinner. And that's 8 goals on 18 high danger. On the other side, he's given up 2 mids, but he's given up 6 on 24 high danger. So that's where they're sort of on the goaltending battle. The high danger stuff, Bob's made some, we've seen it, spectacular momentum changing saves. They're probably going to need a few more of those from Stu as this goes forward. I mean, 3-on-3 on slot line plays, that the Panthers have only created 3 as a feather in the cap of the Oilers defensively, across the middle of the ice slot line plays. But the fact 3 have gone in, like, you're going to need to mix in some saves there too. 3 on 5 on breakaway. So again, you don't want to give up these chances, but when you do, again, goes back to the LA series, you're allowed to stop those too. And the guy at the other end so far has stopped more of those. Now, at the same time, no low danger, no mid danger. We see him handling the puck and breaking up their forecheck with clean handles. And interestingly enough, they don't seem to be making a concerted effort to keep it away from him. So there's a lot of positives here, but that's been the biggest difference in the series. Like, if you had told me you're scoring 8 on Bob in the first 2, I would hope you're coming out of there 2-0, right? So it'll be interesting to see sort of how this goes moving forward. Like how they've defended. Like, at the end of the day, the first game they gave up 6 high danger. In the second, they gave up 12. I don't know that you're winning if you're the Oilers. As much as they created a bunch and there were extra periods in there, I don't know if you're winning if you're giving up 12 high danger a game. It's the most they've given up outside of the first game in LA in the last 2 playoffs combined.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I thought their puck management wasn't great. Now, I've had people asking about the Marchand goal in double overtime. When you saw that play, in an ideal world, because that's what I like to preface that by saying, like, it's easy as, sitting from where we're at, you like, hey, what's the goalie doing? But did you see anything technical that could have happened different for him to make the save on that play?
I mean, sticks there, it just goes off the heel of it. Like, it's a bit of a tough break. We've talked about the narrow butterfly before. Like, when he comes across laterally, he doesn't build a wider butterfly, just naturally has a lot more coverage. A narrow one has less coverage along the ice and inevitably a bigger 5-hole. Because think of it this way, like, if you have a wider natural flare, it's not just that your leg sticks out further to the side and you cover more in the bottom of the net. As soon as I get my leg out to the side, the top of the pad, what we call the thigh rise, it fills the 5-hole. So as soon as you're coming across narrow, there's going to be more of a gap there and you're going to be more prone to tricklers. And that's just, that's biomechanics. That's just the body he has and the hip mobility he has, say, compared to the guy at the other end. I thought his stick was there. I thought his stick discipline was pretty good. It hits it. He gets a piece of it, just doesn't quite get enough. That's Brad Marchand on a breakaway, right? Sometimes you just got to tip your hat.
Now, you mentioned, then Brown's got a question about the 6 and 12. What were the high danger chances for Edmonton per game creating?
They're double digit both games, Jason. In the second game, they were 14. And in the first game, they were 10. So again, double digits both games for you is great. They're getting tons of chances. And this is where your Bob's giving up goals, but he's also making some really good saves. And man, if I see them go trying, and I understand, like, this is the Panthers and they back check and they've always got a stick on you. They've always, they've got that pressure component to their game defensively. So interestingly enough, their breakaways for the Oilers haven't been as clean look. But if I see them try and beat them along the ice one-on-one one more time, I might do something
thank
through
you.
television.
Yeah. I totally agree. Thank you that you brought it up.
It just doesn't happen, guys. Like, it doesn't happen. Like, it's not, and like, super easy to be the goalie guy on my couch critiquing the forwards who are playing at lightning speed with incredible back pressure. But man, we talked about this going into the series. The Panthers don't give you much. Bob is going to make these spectacular saves from time to time. When you get opportunities, you have to play away from his strengths and into his, again, relative weaknesses. And right now, when I look at it, there's too many times where I don't necessarily see that happening. When I look at sort of the shot chart, on Bob to this point in the playoffs, I see a little more low over the pads, even though they've scored once there. I've seen a little more low over the pads than maybe I'd like to see. I'd kind of prefer to see a little more everything upstairs. And again, really easy for me to say. The game's played really fast. There's a ton of back pressure from the Florida players, but they've got 10 just over the blocker so far, and they've scored 1. Like, that's the first over the blocker Bob's given up all playoffs versus 11 high. And on the glove, it's 9 low glove and 7 high. And I think it depends on the situation. Like, great awareness on the game 1 winner. This was in one of my breakdowns from the conference final, but it didn't make it into the Stanley Cup final just because of space. If Bob comes across on his feet, like Draisaitl going just over the pad there, normally we talked about east-west plays, and if you get him extended, you have to hit the top half of the net. But if he beats a play across on his feet, much like he did this to Matthews on a grade A chance, high to low in again, like potential for momentum series shifting moment. And as soon as he beats it on his feet, he gets that glove up. And so great awareness by Draisaitl that, hey, Bob's coming across upright on his feet. It's going to be space over the pad rather than shooting over the glove. If he comes across sprawled, that's when you got to hit the top half of the net. So I loved that moment. I think there's been other moments in this series where, again, I'd like to see them target the weaknesses. It sounds counterintuitive, but shots from above the dot to the top of the faceoff circle are more likely to score if you can hit your spots off the hips, high, just over the pads, than you are on a breakaway. Like, that's just what the math says. That's where he's more vulnerable. So you're always going to try and get closer to the net. But there are times if you're an elite shooter where it's okay to let one go from above the dots if you've got him moving backwards.
Kevin, we've talked a little bit from a defenseman's perspective on how to, a guy like Sam Bennett, try to box him out early. Anything from a goalie's point of view, like that they can do? Not to go back to Ron Hextall or anything like that, but is there anything that they can do maybe aggressively to make it a little harder or less appealing to kind of come into those types of areas?
Man, I like, just make sure your knees are really warmed up before. Like, I'm sorry, like the falling on, like, I thought they misinterpreted the rule in the first one. I sent this to you, Jason, as well. I touched in with the number of people who thought that goal should have been disallowed in the first game, because if Stu's in the crease, there remains an onus on the player to try to at least make a reasonable effort to avoid contact. And unless Sam Bennett learned to skate yesterday, he gets clipped on the heels and he basically falls ass over tea kettle on top of the goaltender. I'm sorry. It's like the elbow into Anthony Stoller's head. You see the change of direction. To me, there's a deliberateness there that he's just been allowed to get away with. And maybe this is the goalie union card coming out. From a goaltender, it's a really tough one. You don't want to back up to avoid contact because now you're giving up net, and he tips the puck as well as anyone, and you're going to give up goals that way. You don't want to go Hextall, as much as I'd love to see it every once in a while, because then you're taking a penalty and then you're focused on the wrong things. I think you've got to trust the league to do their job. I like that they did it in game 2. I'm glad he got up from that. We've had 3 goalies that haven't this year gotten up and been able to continue after having players fall on them rather easily in the crease, including Calvin Pickard in the LA series, in the Vegas series. I don't love that crease contact. I think when you allow it to them to get away with it on goals, it encourages more of it. And there is the definition of a goalie in a vulnerable position is on his knees in the butterfly. Your knees are just so susceptible there. So, but in terms of what Stu can actually do about it, man, it's a tough question because there really isn't a lot. You really just need to make sure you don't do yourself any favors by selling it. That's the one thing you have to be careful of, because then you won't get the call the next time. When all the attention was on the Stollers clip by Bennett in the first round, I thought Aiden Hill sold one in the Oilers series, and then all the goalies stopped getting calls after that. So you got to walk that line, communication with the referees, make sure that there's an understanding. I would imagine the director of series is looking for this at this point, because that's twice, and it's just such a dangerous play.
Yeah, Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine, NHL.com joins us. And it is something that, I know they're supposed to have an open mind, but that's something that they're going to be looking at. And I understand why. And I think Sam Bennett's probably smart enough. He'll stay around the net. He might just not, and I'm using quotations here, fall on the goalie as easily maybe as he has. Now, I want to go back to Bobrovsky.
I was going to say, you can probably mix in the odd cup check here and there if you're subtle about it, but that's about it. You don't want to get too far down the road around Hextall.
Yeah, no, very true. Going back to Bobrovsky, and you joked out, if the Oilers try to beat him on the ice in close again, you're going to lose it. So now, obviously, with time, and we saw it last year, and you outlined this, games 4, 5, and 6, the Oilers, they went to the scouting report, and they scored 18 goals on Bobrovsky. So what you've seen in these 2 games, Kevin, when they're in tight, is it just simply, I know it's easier said than done, to go upstairs, or do they have to attack different laterally or from different areas as well?
You know what? It's really hard to do, right? Because as soon as you go lateral and you extend your hands, it's harder to elevate. And the goalies know this, right? So that's where Bob, even on breakaways, he'll push out at guys. It's not quite Dominic Hasek, reaching out with the blocker to sort of get guys extended with their hands and then doing the barrel roll because he knows they can't elevate at that point. But Bob will actually come down and push rather than retreat across to his back post, he'll push out a little bit across and try and take away that space, knowing he's good along the ice and knowing if he forces you to extend your hands, it's really hard to elevate that puck. So that's where I said, like, being on the couch, it's really easy for me to say elevate, and usually Florida has back pressure on it. They haven't given up a lot of pure uncontested ones. I do think there are moments, and again, this is counterintuitive. You want to get close to the net. You want to get close to the net. I'll take a shot from the hash marks or just above the hash marks rather than getting in tight if you don't think you have the time and space to make a move that allows you to still have your hands in a position to elevate at least over the pad. Again, so many of these have been situational where I look at it and I'm mad, and yet I'm also looking at it and I'm like, yeah, he's kind of forced out wide, and there's back pressure there. There's a stick on his stick. And as soon as you get wide and start trying to go around the guy, unless you're super patient, you can beat him to a dead angle and just keep going. It's really hard to sort of elevate that puck once you extend your hands. And I think Bob knows that. And I think their defenders, the way they get on guys and on the hands and make sure there's that constant pressure, they're obviously aware of it too.
So do you see, I mean, you talk about Bob being able to go side to side and how difficult he is to beat. Do you feel like, is there enough traffic, and do you feel like the Oilers are getting enough pucks just on net? Because it doesn't have to be pretty.
No, it's a fair question. Looking at sort of the screen chances, they've got 8. He hasn't given up one. Sorry, everything switched over to Stuart Skinner there on me, and I had it on Bob. This is the default of a reset here. Just wanted to have the numbers in front of me to tell you. Screens, they've scored 1 off 7 chances, but again, that was off the rush, so not your traditional screen. Yeah, 7 chances in 2 games. That's not terrible from a screen perspective. 26 clear-sighted shots. They've actually, sort of taken more, clean, what I would call almost wasted shots, where it's, basically a turnover, low danger off, where the goalie has clear sight on it. You're just pretty much handing them the puck. I don't know that I'd be critical of the screen opportunities they're creating at 7, but there's always an opportunity for more. Like when I look at the clear-sighted being 26, I'd want to look through the film and look at each one and say, okay, are there moments there where that person can hold and wait for a screen to form? Is there a chance to make that a more dangerous chance rather than just throwing it at the net or trying to score with nobody between you and the net, right? Like the shot off the rush where Podkolzin sort of sets that moving screen. If that's not off the rush, it probably doesn't. I like shooting. Again, I like shooting from up there as is, especially off the hip on Bob. But the flash screen is what makes it a mid-danger chance, right? So to me, it's more a little bit of not being willing to shoot mid-zone and not looking for the perfect play and having bodies. It reminds me of the Sheloff stuff last year against Vancouver, right? Arturs is an unknown entity. He comes into the playoffs and they're trying to beat him with backdoor tap-ins, and he's eating everything up along the ice because he's like Bob. He's exceptionally quick. He's really good laterally. He's really good along the ice. We'll start throwing pucks from the point with traffic, start winning some battles down low. And I think you're right. The numbers aren't bad enough that you're like, man, like they're not doing any of this, but there is opportunities rather than just taking that clear-sighted shot to wait for some of that to form, because even if you're not beating them on the screen, if you create a second chance opportunity off a broken play, that win those battles, easier said than done against the Panthers, but win those battles amid the chaos, that's one of your best opportunities to score.
Buddy, that's Brownie's bread and butter in men's league, man. Broken plays, he lives for them. So that's what he's looking for. He's looking for it all day long. So I understand it. Kev, as always, buddy, great stuff. We might set up with you before we get to Game 5. We know there's going to be a Game 5 for sure. It's either going to be 2-2 or one of these teams will be up 3-1. So we might touch in with you on Friday.
Yes, that's assuming I survive, because I'm putting on a smile right now, but I'm hurting from my drop from the skate I just took. But Brownie, you wouldn't have needed any garbage goals on me today. Just wind up from the blue line. It was like Oprah. You get a goal and you get a goal. It was. I don't know what's hurt worse. My legs or my pride.
No, just not focused today.
My tracking was terrible.
Woodley, one quick one, because we got a guy. Can a goalie, you talk about the narrow stance, he goes, if it's easier, why don't all goalies do the wide stance? Is it simply because of physics? Some goalies can't do it? You know what you're talking about, Skinner?
Well, so interestingly enough, goalies are, I'll try and be quick, but goalies are being taught to try and activate out of a narrow stance more. Because if you get too wide in your stance, you can't move anymore. Think of it as extension on a T-push. If my legs are already way out beside me, I have no range of motion left to push. So you want to be in a narrow stance. I'm not talking about narrow versus wide stance. I'm talking about butterfly. And that really is physical. Once he's on his knees, he just doesn't have as much natural width to his butterfly. And that creates more holes and more delays. And that is physical. That's, you can train. I mean, he does. I know he works on it. You can try and open up the hips as much, but to a certain extent, once you're at his size, like not everybody's Bob, right? So there's just a limit physically that he has. That's, you know, he's not the only guy with it. But you know, there's only a handful of guys that have a butterfly in the league as narrow as Stu's.
Right. Kev, great stuff, buddy. And a lot of that's physical. So that's why I want to thanks for the clarification. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Friday. Have a good one.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Enjoy it tonight.
There you go. That's Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Jason Gregor, Sean Brown with you, Sports 1440. We're going to switch it up. I think because Brownie's here, we'll do 5 questions next on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Alberta, the all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99. Papa John's pizza makers created the perfect addition to their crust by melting garlic and herb seasoned cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's made with 6 simple ingredients. Try a one-topping cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Back by popular demand, the Operation 36 Junior Golf Program at Cattail Crossing Golf Club. Designed for kids ages 5 through 17, it combines instruction and on-course play, focusing on technique, strategy, and course management. Taught by certified CPGA pros. Only $325 for 4 weeks of instruction, plus 4 9-hole rounds of golf. Operation 36, Wednesdays 5:30 till 7:30 p.m. through August. Register at cattailcrossing.ca. Click on Junior Program or call 780-973-6686.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions take 1 for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Tall legacy, tall legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's gonna love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The summer drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted perforated front leather-appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
Handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Great news! Metal Supermarkets now offers convenient welding services for their customers. Simple Weld, steel, stainless, and aluminum welding. TIG, MIG, and stick are all available. TIG, MIG, and stick. Sounds like my old garage band with their kooky nicknames. Yeah, we were huge in Japan, but never really caught on here. Your loss, Edmonton. Metal Supermarkets, your local convenience stores for... and welding. Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Feeding a crowd, get the triple play. 3 large specialty or 5 topping pizzas for only $54 when you use promo code 3play at papajohns.ca.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Jason Gregor, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, sports1440.ca. Of course, you can always get involved, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. We're coming to you live at On the Rocks, where, oh man, it is going to be packed house tonight. Everybody, you had a few days off. You're raring to go. It's a Monday, but it probably feels like a Thursday or a Friday. You're so jazzed up. It's like this is the first day of the week. You're back. Everybody's around the water cooler or where. I don't even know if it's water coolers, whatever. Is it cafe, espresso machine, whatever it is at the office nowadays, chatting about the game. Everybody's got different opinions. Everyone's fired up for it. Should be awesome. Let's get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick, as right now the best bedroom sale is going on. Bedroom furniture up to 40% off, 25% off your TV stand. Maybe you want to be romantic. You got the fireplace in there. Maybe you got the mirror on the roof like Brown. Whatever's your choice, check it out at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question number 1 for you today. Official game day prediction, Oilers-Panthers game 3, and mixing a bold prediction as well.
I mean, I always go with the Oilers. I'll go 4-2 with an empty netter, and I'll go with Connor Brown getting a goal. Or no, Sammy Kapanen. I'm going to go with that.
Well, if Sammy scores, that's unreal. But Kasperi scores, that might be good too. So, yeah. You played against Sammy.
There you go.
Yeah, you played against Sammy. I get it. You know what? Kevin with the outline and the high danger chances have been in Edmonton's favor here in the series. And so, I don't think Edmonton's played that poorly, to be honest. It's a close series. They like being on the road. I've said the reason I picked Edmonton at the start of the series is I feel that they are just their best guys are going to will them to want to win. And now you could get down 2-1 and still win the series, but I think they'll find a way to a minimum get a split, and so that means they'll win tonight. And I will say, here's a bold prediction: Leon Draisaitl scores a hat trick tonight.
All right, question number 2.
In case you're wondering why I said that, Connor Halley.
Why?
The last 2 hat tricks in the NHL Stanley Cup Final have both come against Florida. Mark Stone in 2023 and all the way back in 1996, Peter Forsberg. Those are the last 2 hat tricks in the Stanley Cup Final.
All right. I like it. Question number 2. Any specific element of the Oilers game you think they need to clean up before this one?
I don't know. I think a lot of their game, I like their game. I think just maybe just, the small details as far as making sure, board battles, getting pucks in. There's not, you're splitting hairs on,
Yeah. To me, they're giveaways. Their giveaways are up 30% in these 2 games compared to the first 3 rounds. So giveaways and second periods. Second periods have been brutal. They got dominated in both second periods.
Question number 3. You guys discussed it a little bit already, but how much money is Sam Bennett making next year when it comes to AAV?
I'm going to say 6.75.
I'll say 7. I think they're going to overpay.
Or question number 4 for you. I was watching this little video, and it was baseball from a catcher's perspective. I had a newfound respect for bat catchers. So I want to ask you guys, what position in sport do you think does not get the respect it deserves?
Well, first of all, Cons, you're going to get text right now. You're disrespecting by calling them a back catcher. They're just a catcher. So they get very upset if you call them back catcher.
Why?
Because the real term is catcher.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't care. What are they going to do?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because it is like, you know, when you go into like the elite, well, any sport, but you get into the high level sports to watch what they can do. Like, to me, how you're able to return a serve in tennis, I'm just like, what? Right? Like I went on a court with a guy once who was like not even close to like a tour player, but was like one of the best in the province. And I'm like, how do you even see the ball? Like, you know, you're kind of guessing it. Now, maybe you can train to it, and then you go up and you're 8, and so I never played tennis, so maybe it's something you get used to. But I'm going to go with returning a serve on a tennis right now. It's ridiculous how fast they serve.
I mean, not only, you know, are you returning it, it's just to even have the wrist power and strength to, you know, to even get it back too. So I don't know. I got to think, I don't know. I guess a DH isn't an everyday player, but someone coming in like a pulled goalie, someone that's got to come in a situation where they're cold and have to perform.
So pinch hitter or extra goalie.
Yeah.
All right. Thought you were going to say like the 7th defenseman from the press box.
I've been that guy.
Brownie respects them. Michael J. Fox celebrates his birthday today. So in honor of that, what is your favorite movie with a Canadian in the lead role?
Go ahead.
I'll go with Jim Carrey, maybe in The Mask. Yeah, I mean,
The Mask. Eh?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Dumb and Dumber. The Mask. Yeah,
That'd
I
be
could
good
see it.
too.
You like dressing up, so I could see it. That's a really good question, Cons, because there's some really good options here to choose. Like if we went way back and Detective Frank Drebin. Oh my God, Leslie Nielsen is unreal. But I think I might. Like I thought the original, and I'm going to go back to my youth, because when I was young, like I thought this movie, the first time you saw it, was just epic. But Back to the Future with the young Michael J. Fox, Marty McFly, like, man, it was so like that hoverboard, you know, when it came in, it's like, oh my God, this is unreal, right? And Doc was a classic. So, because you really, when you're watching the movie, you're like, oh, this might be possible. Like you could go back in time. So I'm going to go with it's probably not like, it's not going to win any cinematic awards, I wouldn't think, but if we're talking, it's one of my faves for sure. Like Dumb and Dumber is obviously up there. There's others, but I'll go with the young MJ.
Good one. Good one.
You?
Well, Ryan Gosling didn't star in Remember the Titans, so I won't say that one, but I'll go Michael Cera in Superbad.
Sarah's Canadian?
Absolutely, yeah.
How did I not know that? God, that's a really good one. What?
Yeah.
Jeez. Oh, the first 45 minutes of that movie might be the most I've laughed in the first 45 minutes of any movie all time.
Which one's that?
Superbad.
Oh, okay.
You haven't seen Superbad?
I
Okay, I'm telling you, you go watch it with Wendy. I'm telling you, this week, watch Superbad before Monday next week.
Okay.
So you can tell us what you think about it. And the first 45 minutes, Brownie, is unbelievable. Like there are so many, like, and it's funny. There's some scenes later on in the movie, later on when they're escaping from Seth Rogen. That's pretty funny too. But the first 45 minutes of Superbad, God, there were so many funny offside jokes in that show. It was amazing.
Yeah, starts off when they're at school, Brownie, and then going to a different party. It's
God.
Gregor's very correct here. The first 45 minutes, amazing.
Oh, so good. Like if you're in a bad mood, just watch the first 45 minutes of that movie.
So what about the rest of it?
Well, it's still good,
Oh, okay.
but like a comedy to hold, it's like a drama. It's not like every minute of a drama is like, oh my God, or like every minute of a horror movie, you're on the edge of your seat. But that first 45 minutes, man, I'm telling you, like, I'm trying to think, like, what would I put it up there for a start of a movie? Like first 45 minutes, like Dumb and Dumber had lots of funny scenes kind of spread throughout. Old School, I loved Old School at different times. But this one, just the start of it, was so strong continually, and I just think it's hard to maintain that the whole. It's like the old adage, Brownie. Can you dominate for 60 minutes in hockey? It's hard to do, right?
But a comedy, they do have to get you early to be interested. If it's a comedy and there's nothing funny within the first 15 minutes, I'm out.
Yeah. So hey boys, what about Wedding Crashers? Oh yeah,
that's a great one.
Oh, that is a good movie. So and the thing is, there are people that have actually crashed weddings in their life. Now I don't know if they became the life of the party at a wedding that they crashed, like those two seem to do all the time. It's quite funny. But Con, you tried crashing a party. You went in a wedding. You were in there for like 50 minutes and then you're out.
Bought a round of shots, got spotted, left. Yes. We were in street clothes too, so we didn't do any favors.
Geez, like you were, because had you walked in with the suit, you got a way better chance to pull it off. Wow.
Yeah, we were invited by someone there. Yeah. I knew we shouldn't go in, but I was like, well, let's just buy some shots for the crew.
One of our listeners. Maybe we should challenge one of our listeners to be a wedding crasher. Because we are coming up on wedding season for sure. Right? Like, who's got a wedding to attend on Game 5 Saturday night? I know somebody out there does. Somebody's going to a wedding on Saturday night. It's Game 5, the Oilers and the Florida Panthers. And it's probably a wedding where, the bride or groom, they're not sports fans. So they're like, sorry, we're not putting the game on.
What about the confidence that you would need, Connor, to be able just to go in there and look and feel like you belong?
Yeah, well, my buddy who we went in with had liquid confidence going right there. So, yeah, he was like, yeah, we can get in. And I hadn't been going as hard as him leading up to that event. So I was quite aware of the surroundings. He's like, hide on the dance floor. I'm like, no, we're wearing shorts,
in our jeans, in our shorts. Oh,
yeah, it was summer.
This is getting better all the time.
Yeah,
I can't believe they noticed us. Eh?
Yeah,
jeez.
Yeah, the bride made eye contact and we got.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. For sure. Yeah, we just came in to buy you some. No. I was at a wedding once where some guys tried to crash it and it did not go well.
No.
The groom was not happy.
Yeah.
So I was a date at that wedding, so it wasn't like I didn't know him that well. But I thought there was going to be like fisticuffs. Like he was probably a tad too aggressive because I think the guys are like, they're kind of like your buddy cons. I think their liquid courage had blocked their common sense at that moment. And so someone asked him to leave and it's like, oh, don't worry, it's all good. More the merrier. And then groom came over and that was got a little aggressive.
No,
but nothing too bad.
We were asked to leave and then we said, yep, see ya. Congrats.
Have a good one. We're
Congrats.
Oh, awesome. Brownie, have yourself a great week. Enjoy that. So we will hear next Monday Brownie's report on Superbad. And the games, but more on Superbad.
I'll watch it Sunday.
Yeah, you watch it whenever, as long as you watch it before Monday. So you'll laugh. If you don't laugh, I question your humor. Let's get to the comment. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Stop in right now at Fountain Tire. Before you make that road trip, you got to go to Fountain Tire. Brakes, oil change, tires, fluids, they'll check it all to ensure you are smooth on the road. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day, Game 3, Stanley Cup Final. Oilers and Panthers down in the Sunrise. Puck drop just after 6 o'clock in this one. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson gets going at 5 right here on Sports 1440. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins listed as a game-time decision for this one per Coach Knobloch. And for the Florida Panthers, A.J. Greer will make his series debut. Major League Baseball tonight, the Jays are in action down in St. Louis, taking on the Cards. First pitch set for 5:45. There's also the Braves in Milwaukee. Red Sox hosting the Rays. Cubbies take on the Phillies. Marlins, Pirates, Guardians, Reds, and the Padres hosting the LA Dodgers. And in the WNBA, you got Commissioner Cup action, 8 o'clock. The Sparks hosting the Valkyries. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. We'll hear the Oil Report and another edition of Cam Tate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
New crust alert at Papa John's. Your favorite cheese meets your favorite pizza in the new cheddar crust pizza for only $17.99.
Come on, welcome back, Jason Gregor. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca.
And cheddar cheese right on top of their fresh original dough that's
Oilers
made with
Nation.
6 simple ingredients. Try a one
Gregor Show
Pepperoni cheddar crust pizza today for only $17.99. You better hurry though, because it's only for a limited time. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
I won't shave till we bring home the cup. And I like to do a shot for every playoff game. My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs again.
Sports 1440
on a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhock beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhock, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Will Hockey game day with Will Hock beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't bring home the cup with salad. The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Playoff time on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. This is Andrew Walker, and join us for the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show before each Edmonton playoff game. Cross Mitsubishi on 34th Ave and 96th Street.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Are you an elite athlete or weekend warrior and you just want to enjoy playing the sport you love with less or even no pain? Have you tried every exercise and stretch imaginable, hoping the next one might do the trick? Well, you tried analog. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe healing can move along better and sometimes even faster with evidence-based technology techniques and the people who know how and when to apply it. StimPod, zero-gravity treadmills, radial shockwave, and so much more at your fingertips when you click to find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm Zach Hyman. And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes or having my goals disallowed, we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling. You know, guys used to call me a plumber. And now they call you an AC repairman. Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well,
okay. Call Legacy, call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The summer drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted perforated front leather-appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
Explore Internet just got 10 times faster. 5G Ultra brings incredible speeds to homes in rural and small town Canada. Upgrade today at xplore.ca.
If you bleed orange and blue and you're not using the all-new Play Alberta Sports and Casino app, then you're missing out. It's the only online sportsbook with odds boosts on all Oilers games. And now, it's not just sports. Play the slots, hit the tables, buy lottery tickets, all in one app, all across Alberta. Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and use promo code GOAL for a $100 bonus. That's promo code GOAL!
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona has special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock, 2 hours, 10 minutes from puck drop tonight. The Edmonton Oilers, the Florida Panthers, Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. Did you know, prior to this year, only 5 finals in NHL history started with both games in overtime, and only one, 1951, Toronto and Montreal, had overtime. Actually, it was the first 4 games. So 2 overtimes to start, rare. Oilers have done that now with the Panthers. You get to even 3 overtimes in a series is pretty rare, 6 times. So that's at any other time of this series. If another one of these games goes to overtime, and the way these games are going, would any of us be shocked if we have another OT game later on in the series? We'll see. It's been that close. It's been exciting. It's been good. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, Greg, you were talking earlier about water coolers. Our boss actually took ours out, put a Frappuccino machine in. The worst, from Dan. Oh, yeah. It's now I am like cappuccino coffee. Like, what's Frappuccino? Was that difference? Is that a thing? Like, is it that popular? Frappuccino, cappuccino? You ever had one, Cons?
No, but I can tell you that it is a blend between a milkshake and an iced coffee, some say.
Oh, so it's ice cream? Or maybe
milk ice flavorings, usually a little coffee or espresso.
Oh, okay. So you can have coffee with it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yeah, like, I don't know. It's like, what if you don't drink coffee?
That's fancy, though.
But why would you take out the Culligan machine? That just makes no sense.
Why can't you have both?
That's a really good point. Like, you have that small of an office that you can't, like, the Culligan stand we have at the work, they're not very big. They don't take up any space. They fit perfect right on the wall. You don't even notice it.
Yeah, you can have hot, cold, or room temperature water.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Yeah, because
fantastic.
Some people with sensitive teeth, they don't like the cold.
Mm-hmm.
So, now, I would think those machines would have to go, like, they just sit on a counter. They're not just like a standalone in the middle of the office. So yeah, that's a tough decision there. I would strongly disagree. I can't, like, did you guys vote on it in the office? It seemed like you might want to have a discussion there with someone. See, now we're going to get to head coach Chris Knobloch in a second. Also Darnell Nurse and Brett Kulak is, of course, a big story. Is the the front of the net, and I think it's a story, but I don't know if it's like the main story, right? So yeah, they had one goal that way, and then they had one goal called off. So it happens, yes, but I don't think it's like, oh my God, the Oilers are like, they're getting murdered in front of their net, and Florida's getting all of these chances because of it, right? Like, I don't think it's that glaring. I think it's things that everybody remembers. Right. And oh my goodness, he fell on Skinner. You remember that. I understand it. But I don't know, like, am I seeing lots of other situations where I'll tell you what I'm seeing way more of. For me, I'm seeing way more of Edmonton giveaways in their own zone. I'm seeing way more of, battles lost along the boards. Florida doing a good job on the board. I'm seeing that way more than I'm seeing the net front stuff. Like, I know the net front gets a lot of people talking, but I don't know if that's the major area that I got to focus on if I'm the Edmonton Oilers. Like, yes, you want to be aware of it, but I don't know if you're spending that much more time, right? They said, you try to box him out, then you probably leave him alone, because if you give him a touch and he's close to the goalie, he'll probably use it to his advantage and fall. So I don't know if I'm seeing it like every time Sam Bennett's on the ice. Oh my God, is it a controversial play around the net? I don't know if it's that bad. And I rewatched the second game after I heard, because I was trying to find where Nugent Hopkins maybe got nicked up. Now I know he didn't take as many faceoffs, but that might have been because he wasn't winning any faceoffs, right? That probably could have been a part of it, right? Because because it's easy, you can break it down, right on the NHL website to go through faceoffs and things like that. And if you look at Nugent Hopkins, he didn't win a lot of draws. Like, Draisaitl's taken the majority of them, as he should, right? Nugent Hopkins didn't take a face-off in the first period. He took 2 in the second, 3 in the third, and 2 in overtime. So I know that Kane took a few with them together. And so that had people wondering, hey, maybe there's an issue there, and it's possible. But if there's an issue, you're either taking none or you're going to take most of them. He still took most, right? He just doesn't take a lot. Draisaitl obviously takes the most. Then there was Connor McDavid and then Adam Henrique. Because Nugent Hopkins, as you all know, isn't a great face-off guy, right? It's just how it is. So let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars. Edmonton Discover Day sale event is on now. You can lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,000. So final month, they've extended it at volvocarsedmonton.com. And Chris Knobloch, just the challenges of playing McDavid and Draisaitl together if, and this is a big if, Nugent Hopkins can't play tonight.
Well, we have to determine where Ryan is in our lineup and if he's playing. Yeah, we don't have as much versatility if we are missing a centerman. I think centermen are so important just to move around, and we don't have a lot of centermen on our roster. Typically, you have a lot of centermen who are playing wing. In fact, we've got wingers that we've transformed into centermen in Janmark. Yeah, it does change our what we can do, but yeah, we'll address it throughout the game.
And that is the one, to me, like Nugent Hopkins, obviously you don't want him to be out. But if he's out, it does drastically alter the opportunity to play Draisaitl and McDavid together all the time. Because now you don't really have a second. I guess you could move Adam Henrique up there to play with Kane, right? That would probably be the option. I don't think you'd slide Trent Frederick up there. Now Frederick can play center, so then him and Janmark would be the centers if need be. Or I guess you do it, and then you just maybe you double shift McDavid or Draisaitl on the second line. That's the other option that you could do. Knobloch was also asked about, the Oilers gave up a lot of high danger chances in game 2, 12 of them, double from what game 1. That's the most high danger chances they've given up in a game since the first 2 games against LA. So the balance between playing smart while being aggressive and maybe having to take a chance offensively, how does he balance it with his players?
Yeah, if you play too safe, you end up having to defend. If you're always worried about turning over the puck and all you do is get it over the line and you're not making a pass, you're always making a safe play. Well, what happens is you end up giving the puck to the other team and then you have to defend. It's not like they're going to give it right back to you. So, it's up to the players to recognize, when they have a play and when they don't. And you hope that they can make those the right judgment and the right play. But to say to the guys, don't turn the puck over, don't make a mistake, that's just a recipe for disaster. You still have to play on instincts. You still have to play to your strengths. And we believe our strengths is passing the puck around and sharing it and making high percentage plays. And sometimes there are mistakes, and that's part of the game. There's never going to be a perfect game. I think it's important for our players to play off their instincts.
100%, right? Like at this stage, it's hard. Like the Oilers have been, we got a lot of texts, and I don't think it's a reason to worry. It's one loss, right? They're 16 and what are they? Sorry, 14-3. 13-3 in their last 16 games. They played really well. Like they lost the game in double overtime. They weren't out of the game by any stretch of the imagination. I don't see Edmonton changing. They've created more high danger chances. They just some things you want to clean up, but now's not the time to institute a big change. Right? Maybe a few better shot selections, go upstairs a little bit more rather than on the ice. Something you could do, but overall, I don't see him change. That's why, would they change the D pairs? I guess it's possible. I'd be surprised if they do to start the game. We'll see. We'll go to Spec next. He was there. We'll find out what's going to happen on the defensive side. Nugent Hopkins playing, that and more on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. It's a Gregor Show live and on the rocks.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota. Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with the tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
Adventure just doesn't stumble into your life. It roars to life with Riverside Motorsports. Tearing up trails or cruising the open road. Yamaha ATVs, side-by-sides, motorcycles, and dirt bikes deliver the performance you crave. Built for thrills, ready for your next adventure. Yamaha's legendary performance and reliability take you there. Make Mother Nature your playground on a Yamaha from Riverside Motorsports. Located on St. Albert Trail. RideRiverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
McDonald's sundaes in snack-size shapes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Bank Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118th.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Game day continues on. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. As the Oilers and the Panthers, we are less than 2 hours from puck drop, boys and girls. Getting excited for another game. Oh, edge of your seat. This series has been unreal. It's been a great first 2 games, man. I just hope it continues. I know there might be a 2-1 game here coming up, but selfishly, I don't think so. I love the lead changes. It just adds emotion, energy. Like, how many of you thought, oh God, they're going to lose? And then Corey Perry ties it with 17 seconds left. The latest tying goal in Stanley Cup Finals history. No one's ever tied it that late. It's just been that type of game. Series. It's been awesome. And hopefully it continues. So let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. They're underground infrastructure specialists. They remind everyone, hey, take your time on your way home. Because all of them in construction, they want to get home on time for the game, just like you. It's GS Construction. As Mark Spector joins us from sunny Florida. Spec, how you doing?
Doing great. Just flying down the highway on the way to the arena here.
Nice. Well, stay safe, Spec. Stay safe.
I'm not driving. I'm not driving. I'm in the back seat. Don't worry.
Oh, trust me. You can't even. We know you can't rent a car. You forget your ID everywhere you go, so that's no big deal. Let's. Nugent Hopkins. You're around the rink. You saw him skating this morning. What do you think the chances are he plays?
Well, I don't know. He was not skating very hard. Like, there was no digging in out there. He's not running. Stopping and starting and testing anything out. He went out. He looked like hockey out there, and then he went back in the room. So, and then I saw vis of him walking in the rink with everybody today, and he's walking along just totally normal. So, honestly, I can guess. My guess is usually that a hockey player is going to play in a game like this, but I don't have a lot of evidence. I did see him. He's alive, but I can't tell you how injured he is. I just can't tell you.
No, that's fair. But and then Skinner stayed out late.
He did.
Yeah. Usually that means you're not playing, but Sean Brown pointed out, he goes, they don't practice a lot, so maybe he thinks he's playing, so he's giving himself an extra push. We'll see, although he did think it was rare. So we'll find out at warm-up. Although I guess he said he'll even find out after warm-up. I'm guessing Nugent Hopkins and Skinner will both take the warm-up. The key is if Nugent Hopkins doesn't play, Spec, that really lowers or puts a wrench into the plan that we've seen the first two games where you start McDavid and Draisaitl separate, but then you put them together kind of midway through the game. It'd be a lot harder to do that without Nugent Hopkins.
Well, I guess the key to combating that problem would be to get a lead and not feel like you have to put them together to catch up in the game.
Yeah.
Remember, the Oilers have been trailing in the third period both these games. So, that's the first thing I would say. And you're right. It's a bit of a, Knobloch admitted this morning that it kicks a hole in their versatility a little bit, not having Nugent Hopkins. They don't have a ton of centers here. I thought when Frederick came, he was supposed to be able to play some center, but we haven't seen it. I guess the next centerman in line is obviously Henrique, but he's got a line to run on the third line. So you're right. That's the biggest option here, or the biggest issue here with Nugent Hopkins not playing, or one of the big issues is plan B, the nuclear option. It takes a hit when you don't have Nugent Hopkins to help make that work.
Yeah, 100%. The Oilers, we had Kevin Woodley on. Most high danger chances they allowed since the first two games against LA, which we all knew they're not good defensively. Now, they did have 14. It's also a game that was a little bit later on into overtime, so you have to take that into account. But game one went to overtime too, Spec, and late in overtime, they only gave up 6. So, they gave up double the amount with only about 16 minutes more of hockey being played. And they've been very good at limiting the high danger chances. That talked about it all here, that, they probably were a little bit looser than they would like.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like the defenseman, we talked to Nurse and Kulak on the podium today, and I asked Kulak if, obviously everyone could see they've struggled with their zone exits. And I asked him, is this an X and O thing, or is this, you got to win more battles? He says, it's totally us not executing. We got to make better passes. We got to be way cleaner on our end. And I'm going to say, we watched 2 games here. We've watched 9 periods. There's been a lot of instances where we know that the pinching D-man gives problems. I mean, we can see that. And we know that Florida, when it becomes a puck battle, they're pretty good at it, and you got to win those battles if you think you're going to beat them. But I've also seen, Jay, a lot of Edmonton defensemen looking up ice, and now maybe the forwards have to do a better job of being open. Maybe they got to be closer. I'm not sure who we're blaming here, but we've seen a lot of turned over pucks under not that much pressure, right? We've seen a lot of poorly executed breakout passes, guys trying to make stretch passes that aren't there, guys just not making the easy play. So I'm not telling you that Florida's not giving them trouble. They clearly are. But I know the Oilers feel like they can be way cleaner than they've been in the first 2 games here.
Yeah, I think that's totally valid. Game 2 especially, there was a few shifts back. Well, there was the one shift, the Henrique line. I counted 5 giveaways in one shift.
Yeah.
And times where they had the puck on their stick. And Florida, the one area that Florida dominates any team is along the boards. We saw it in Carolina. I was watching that series. I'm like, oh my goodness, they're killing it. And that's where Edmonton's got in trouble. And I know people say, oh, you never want to go up the middle. Well, first of all, you never coach to say never, and nowadays skilled players, they can go up the middle of the ice all day. If the middle of the ice is open, then you go there rather than force it up the boards and create another turnover. And so I do expect better puck management from Edmonton tonight. Or if they want to have success, they'll need better puck management, is a better way to say it.
Yeah, you got to take what's there. And if it's the middle that's there, then you got to have the courage and the belief in your own abilities to take the middle. Pass it up. I'm not saying pass it through 3 guys up the middle, but there's no question that they're driving you towards the wall that's where the Floridas have their support, right? They support along the wall. They count on the defenseman to win the battle with the winger, and there's a Florida winger right there to grab a puck and get back after it at your end. So I'm with you, Jay. If the middle is the route, then the Oilers are a pretty good team. They got 6 defensemen that can move a puck, and they got a bunch of good forwards. So take it up the middle, and that'll get Florida off their game. I think you got to give Florida something to think about on this forecheck, Jay. I think So far, their plan's working, and you got to somehow get them off that plan a little bit.
Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, the defense pairings, do you actually think they'll change?
No. Do you?
No.
No, I think that was just for show.
Yeah. Because it
I'm not
does.
sure why. It's not like Florida's sitting there watching Edmonton practice and going, "Oh, wait a second, they've changed their pairings. We're going to have to do everything differently." I don't know why we do these little things, but no, I don't think they'll change at all.
I honestly think the reason he does it is keep things fresh. And this defense core all year long and in the playoffs have switched in and out at times, right? Like Ekholm's only played a few games. So Bouchard's played with different guys at different times. The first, 9 games of the season, they were switching, basically playing 5 defensemen. And so I think you do a practice like that just in case. So guys are still used to it and it keeps them fresh. And I don't know if it really, you're right. I'm with you that it doesn't make Florida's game plan change at all. But I do wonder, Spec, about Florida's decision. I know they're on home ice, and Paul Maurice, especially on faceoffs, like certain matchups. There's no question he does. But the Forsling-Ekblad matchup has not worked well last year or this year really against McDavid's line. They've been outscored, and now they were a little bit better in game 2. But I wonder if at all we see Jones-Mikkola take a few more shifts. It's never going to go 100% over. I just wonder, because that Mikkola-Jones pairing's easily being their best pair.
I think so too. And this is where you find out, you can get an idea for what Paul Maurice likes in Edmonton, depending on how things go for him, if he's got the ability to change guys. But it's in Florida here where we're going to get a true read. He gets a second change. You can see it right away. Who's he want? And they get all the same analytics we're getting. In fact, they probably get better ones. So if you know that the matchup hasn't been working with the Ekblad pair, he knows it too. So I wouldn't at all be surprised to see a little bit of a change there. It's going to have something to do with health. Is everybody healthy? You never know anymore at this stage. But at this point, I think if I'm an Oiler, looking at the Oilers' perspective, you're kind of making this point, Jay. What I do like is after 2 games, scoring hasn't been an issue for Edmonton. They got 8 goals.
Yes.
Scoring hasn't been an issue. And I know they played 2 extra periods, but the Oilers didn't score in those 2 extra periods in game 2. So that part's a nice change for Edmonton from last year. They have no problem scoring. I kind of am starting to say to myself, if I'm an Oiler fan, I wouldn't mind seeing that team that dug in against Vegas and into the Dallas series and had shutouts in 3 out of 4 games. Defensively, if the Oilers could do that to Florida, I would feel very good about them winning this series.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit harder only because Florida's just a better team.
Better.
Yeah, they're better than Dallas and Vegas. And, so I don't know if you can lock them down that much. I think Edmonton could be better for sure. And really in game 1, I don't think they gave up a ton. Really game 1, if you look at it, Spec, Florida got 2 of their goals in less than 2 minutes. One on a play that, hey, I get better credit. They didn't make the call. And so he's right there on Skinner. Kulak did take him down, fine. But then the next goal, it's a power play goal, pretty good fake by Nate Schmidt. I thought excellent deception. And that was really it. The rest of the game, Florida didn't generate a ton in game 1. So I think Edmonton's showing that they can. Then you just have to, if there's a questionable call, you got to make sure you're on the right side of it. That's all.
Yeah, and I think we're circling back here to one of the things that we didn't like about game 2 for Edmonton's standpoint is just the length of time they had to defend. Florida started their push and Edmonton couldn't end it, certainly in the second period. So, I think we're back to defensemen when they get a chance to break the puck out. The forwards have to be maybe a little closer. Maybe the passes have to be a little easier. Maybe the center's got to come down lower, however you want to draw this up. But to me, it's not allowing Florida a 10-minute push. Maybe a 2-3 minute push, sure, they're going to get that. But I thought it was elongated in game 2 and really fed Florida with confidence. They had Edmonton on the ropes for a long time, man, and they felt awfully good about themselves in that game.
Yeah. No, that's true. Definitely in the second period for sure. Like the Oilers must have talked about that. I don't know if I can buy that it's just a long change because in overtime in the long change, they didn't get worked that much. So I don't know if it's just the long change or if it's just a pushback from Florida. I think both teams are good. I think both teams are going to have momentum on their side. What Edmonton's going to want to do is try to find a way to not have the momentum swing last the entire middle period.
Right. That's it. And listen, it's a long change for Florida too. Why aren't we playing in their end? Right?
Yeah.
It's not like Florida has a short change here. So, you figure it, you got to figure it out. You can't look for an excuse. You can't try to just find a reason why they're dominating you. You got to figure out how to stop them from dominating you. And don't worry, if we're talking about it in here, the Oilers are talking about it in there, I guarantee you.
Yeah. No, that's true. Spec, one last one for you. You look at the Oilers, like there's not really to nitpick about here. I think the Oilers have played fine. Florida has played fine. So do you see anything that, like, I don't know if Edmonton is focusing on Bennett as much. Like he's been around the net twice on obvious plays. But Sam Bennett has 3 goals that don't involve that. Like they might want to focus on not letting Sam Bennett score on them rather than focus too much just about around the net.
Yeah, no, he's been unbelievable in this series. You're right. And listen, in today's game, you really can't stop a guy from going to the net. It's not the old days where you cross-check him into oblivion and, he doesn't come back next time. Like, Sam Bennett's going to get to your net. This falling on the goalie thing, I hate to say it, and Banner Kane said today, you can't take a 2, a 5, and a 10 here to try to put an end to that. It's a Stanley Cup final. So, you know what? I don't never like to say this, but I think it's the case. The referees have to take care of Sam Bennett fall-on goalies here, right? They got to penalize him to the point. Hey, he did get a penalty. The Oilers did score a power play goal in game 2. So to me, that the Oilers will do their best, but there's only so much you can do. And in terms of him scoring goals, you got that right. Like he's not killing them by falling on their goalie. He's killing them by filling the net here. And that's not supposed to be the guy that buries you. They're doing a great job with Barkov and Reinhart, but they better start thinking about number 9 here too, because he's a giant factor in this series right now.
Yeah. Well, I think we are. I was looking up the numbers here. Jones and Mikkola have actually played more against McDavid than Ekblad and Forsling and haven't given up anything. And so that's why I think that's probably the pairing on home ice we might see even more of tonight if you're Paul Maurice, because Jones, Mikkola have been their best pair, no question.
Yeah, well, I'm watching for it, and if that's what they're telling you, if you're Paul Maurice, you certainly won't change that, will you? It's been working for you so far. I mean, listen, it's hard to do stats with guys playing against McDavid because what's success? If he only scores a couple of goals, if they only put 1 goal a night together, is that success? I mean, if you shut down McDavid, oh my God, you're going to beat the Oilers. But frankly, you're very seldom going to shut down McDavid. So if those two, Jones and Mikkola, have the best numbers, I guarantee you that's what you're going to see tonight. And Murray's going to chuck him over the boards and cross his fingers a little bit because McDavid's awfully good right now.
Yep. Well, very true. Spec, enjoy the games. We'll talk to you later this week.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
There you go. That is Mark Spector, the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. We'll return. We got Cam Tate, 2-minute warning. Lots of text flying in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were,
game day continues on.
Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world.
Great.
From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference.
Yes.
FittedGolf.ca.
The summer drive event is on now at Buick. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 60 months on the 2025 Buick Envision. Make your presence known with available 20-inch alloy wheels with pearl nickel finish. Showcase your style with available quilted perforated front leather-appointed seats. And radiate confidence on any drive with Buick's suite of standard safety features. Get behind the wheel of your Buick Envision today. Ask your Buick dealer for details.
Tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Are you tired of waking up tired?
Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
The month of May brings machines, mud, and for us, many an opportunity. We're GS Construction, and we love the warmer weather because it means we can get to work. But to keep things moving, we need the right people on our team. You built your skills, you know your work matters. Now's the time to bring that experience to a crew that gets it. We're hiring experienced top men and pipe layers. So if you're ready to dig in and be part of a team that has your back, apply now at gsconstruction.ca for this great opportunity.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Kickstands up for a vital cause. The Edmonton Motorcycle Ride for Dad. Hi, it's Todd James, honorary ride captain. Now's the time to register for our big ride this Saturday, starting at Blackjack's Roadhouse in Nisku. We're raising funds and awareness in support of the Prostate Cancer Fight Foundation. Show your support by riding, donating, or volunteering. Advance registration just $40, 50 day up, and free with $100 in collected pledges. Details on the Ride for Dad Edmonton Facebook page. Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 Triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
It's the summer big red sale at Canadian Tire. Save up to 50%.
What are you doing?
These are the biggest deals of the season. I'm shouting it from the rooftop.
You have a radio ad. You don't need to be up there.
The summer big red sale is on from June 5th to June 12th. Conditions apply. Details online.
Playoff time on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. This is Andrew Walker, and join us for the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show before each Edmonton playoff game. Cross Mitsubishi on 34th Ave and 96th Street.
McDonald's Sundays and snack size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here.
My phone.
I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.444. Welcome back, Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely Monday afternoon as you get set to get home. Don't worry, puck drop not till 6:20. You got an hour and, 35 minutes to get home safe. Hopefully no snarls on the roadways for you. Everybody take your time. Everybody get home safe, and then everybody's excited. Then you can all have the same nerves together, which would be nice, because it is a playoff game. It's a Stanley Cup final game, and everybody is going to be excited and nervous at the same time. it's man, it's funny just listening to people, because now everywhere you go, everybody's talking about the games. And I have lots of people that come on, hey, what are your thoughts on the games and stuff? And like, it's amazing to me how many people tell me how this, like, the games are too stressful. Like they have to, and like they'll leave, they'll watch for a bit, and then they leave and they come back, and like they might sit in another room and kind of listen to it. So we'll see what happens. But it is interesting to me how many just get that fired up about what could happen. Hey, Greggs, do you honestly think that the Oilers will swip up Bouchard and Ekholm? I don't think that pair will split up. I think you could see the other pairs potentially, because I think Kulak on his on the right side has been a bit of a struggle. So I think you could see, and it's just hard sometimes playing. You're not used to it. And even if you play it, you're just not natural. You're not a right-handed shot. So I could see Wallman going to the right side, whether it's Wallman and Nurse and Wallman and Kulak. Wallman and Kulak played more together. So I would guess if they were going to switch, it's just a guess. If they were going to switch, I think it would be Wallman and Kulak and Nurse and Klingberg. Just, based on what I've seen this year when guys play with different guys, that would be my guess. But Nurse, Bouchard, Ekholm, Bouchard, splitting up, I don't see it. I could be wrong, but I definitely don't see the top pair being split up. Maybe their second and third pairs. Possibility to start, and you can always go back with it, and you rotate guys around. That's what they've done a lot. Let's get to the 2-minute warning, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer long at legacyheating.ca. Now, Cam Tate, of course, a longtime journalist in town. Cam, born with cerebral palsy, in a wheelchair. He's always wanted to be on radio, but the disability allowed until now. Through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
This is not a criticism of the Edmonton Oilers. Can't be. Won't be. But it's the truth. I didn't think the Oilers played very well Friday night. Game 2. Now. Yes. Corey Perry. He came through. 18 ticks remaining on the clock. Stu Skinner pulled for the extra man, and Perry scores to knot the score at 4-4. Florida went on to win in double overtime, 5-4. Overtime. And Connor McDavid, over 35 minutes of ice time, and here's the kicker. 3 assists. Sounds pretty good, right? Yes, it does. But that still doesn't change my mind. The team didn't play well. Yes, they scored 4 goals, and at times looked good, but not right home to Uncle Pete. Good, Gregor. He made a great point when he was on with Lowetide. The second period. Oilers need to be better. Going into the third period, chasing the game. A nice way of saying they are playing from behind. T-maybe? In game? 67? In February? We can accept that. In June? In the Stanley Cup Final? Pick a game. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th. You need to play all periods. If not, things, they change in a hurry. So, we head into Game 3, tonight in Sunrise, Florida, which, by the way, raises a most nagging question. Do you think there are? Now listen closely, Christopher and Matthew. Sunsets. I'm Sunrise. Okay, sorry, okay, I have no problem. None. Telling you the Edmonton Oilers didn't play very well. Am I concerned? Not a chance. With Coach Chris Knobloch making more adjustments than the town's only chiropractor after a high school football game, the Oilers can and will bounce back. Maybe not tonight, but Connor's crew will come back to Edmonton with the series tied at 2 games apiece. And that means the Oilers head into a best of 3 with home ice advantage. 2-minute warning. With Cam Tate, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, The Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440.
Well, you look at the Oilers' big guns, and hey, they've shown up so far. McDavid and Draisaitl, for no question. And that's going to have to continue, but so is Florida's big guns, right? Sam Bennett came in as their leading goal scorer, and he is not slowed down or disappointed in this series. Now they're waiting for, like, if you're Florida, you're probably like, hey, we're 1-1 and Barkov and Reinhart don't have a point yet. So we'll be pretty happy with that. And Edmonton, I think Edmonton can play better defensively than they did in Game 2 overall. right? Woodley outlined it. Like, Stuart Skinner hasn't let in a bad goal at all. But could you maybe get one more big save? He said he got a little bit unlucky. Had good paddle placement on the Marchand breakaway goal. Just went off the blade of his stick and in. Just calls it a little bit of a lucky break. But he did talk about the slot line passes. That's maybe you want to see a save from him. So there's definitely room for improvement on the Oilers side, as there is on Florida's side. But the good news for Edmonton is they have created more chances. Now, Woodley talked about this last year, and we saw changes in game 4 to 6. The Oilers, he said, shooting on the ice on Bob in close is a recipe for frustration. And so now, easier said than done to just, ensure that you elevate your shot every time. But there's a reason why the Oilers scored a lot of goals in game 4, 5, and 6 on Sergei Bobrovsky. Go back and look at some of the goals. Even Bobrovsky, every goalie has a susceptible weakness. So when you get a chance, if you can put it in a better spot, it increases your odds. Right now, the good news for the Oilers, they beat him high blocker. That's the first goal high blocker he's allowed all playoffs. High glove has been the area. He's allowed 11 high glove. He's only allowed 1 high blocker. So the Oilers got one there. So that's good, but it's not necessarily, there was, McDavid was it shorthanded where he hit the crossbar, high blocker side. So I think you got to make a real perfect shot. It's an interesting one, why he's better high blocker than glove. Some are. It's just how it is. But that's the area where if you're shooting high blocker, it's harder to score. Now, if you shoot just above the pad, especially when you go cross ice, if you can get him on lateral plays, if you go lateral play and he's moving on the ice, it's really difficult to score on Bobrovsky. So you want to try the old adage, get it up. It makes a big difference. But, positioning, there's so many things that needs to happen sometimes to get the right shot placement. But we'll see where they do. Hey, boys, what's your thoughts on Ekblad? He's looked slow to me and leaves Forsling to cover more from Mark. Yeah, potentially. If you look at it, and I think that's why McDavid has played, and it's actually significant. I looked it up. He's played 23 minutes against Seth Jones, and Mikola's 22-40, so basically 23 minutes. And then it's about 17 between Ekblad and Forsling. And Forsling, funny enough, has played the least minutes against McDavid of their top 4 defensemen. Now, they're on home ice. Does he want to get Forsling out there more? We'll see. Maybe that is more of a matchup. But considering that Jones in those minutes outscored when McDavid was on the ice 3-0, does that have Paul Maurice say, maybe we'll go with the 2 larger, more mobile skaters against McDavid on home ice? It's the game within the game. It's like Connor McDavid. You're not going to completely contain the guy. You just try to limit the damage, I think is the best way to put it. And I thought Aaron Ekblad, it was obviously that goal against was on the power play. And, that was Oilers fans. You've seen a lot of nice goals. That one's definitely up there. And, Ekblad, I want to get the quote exactly right because I thought I always like it when a player, you're in the Stanley Cup final, but there's no reason to mince your words and give some bogus answer. But he was asked about defending McDavid on that. And here's his exact quote. He's got multiple options. So that's the biggest challenge. You're trying to block a shot, trying to block a low pass, a backdoor pass, and a walk-on water toe drag. So yeah, McJesus. That's what he said. And it's true, right? Like, you think about being a defender in that moment. Like, you've got, and we've seen him walk around some of the NHL's best players. Right? Like, because if you're a defender, you can defend against a lot of things, and you expect a lot of things sometimes. Guys, you don't expect a player to do that because is there another player in the league that makes that play at full speed? So how do you defend it? You kind of hope a little bit, right? Like, I don't even think, like, Ekblad made, like, a terrible movement. Like, he lunged. He just got beat by an elite edge work player. So sometimes you're just like, what the hell? Like, I would love to know, honestly, like, as a coach, you come back to the bench and you're like, I would probably kind of make a joke about it because there's no reason to feel bad like you did something wrong at all. It's just a great play. That's all you can say. Cons, what's your thoughts for tonight?
I'm very intrigued to see what we're going to see. Like, I just feel like the way this series has gone, have the Oilers played their best hockey? Maybe not, but the Florida Panthers are such a good hockey team. You know, they're often not going to let you. So I think it's going to be another tight one here tonight, Gregor, down in Florida. Of course, you know, I've got to take the Oilers to win, but a 1-goal game going either way. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get overtime once again, because it's just been that close of a series.
Well, that would be only the second time in NHL history. First time since 1951. The first 3 games of the Stanley Cup Final went to OT. Oh my goodness, that'd be crazy. We got a lot of texters saying, no, my heart can't handle it. So I had a buddy tell me his resting heart rate during the game was 139. Because he's that into the game. Oh, that would be like, I wonder how many people have that. Just say, what's your resting heart rate in the game? Oh, that would be classic. Coming up, we got the pregame show with Walker. We're here live and on the Rock, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by our good friends at your Alberta GMC dealers. Employee pricing is on now. Get up to $12,000 on a 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Denali Ultimate. See more at gmccanada.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
We're about an hour 20 away from puck drop down in Sunrise as the Oilers and Panthers beating Game 3 of their best-of-7 series. Currently tied at 1 game apiece. Ryan Nation-Hopkins listed as a game-time decision for the Panthers. AJ Greer will make his series debut. In the majors, Toronto Blue Jays kicking off the series against the Cards down in St. Louis. First pitch set for 5:45. We've got 3 games underway, only one with a run. Cubbies on top of the Phillies, 1-0. Marlins, Pirates, and Guardians, Reds both scoreless. Later tonight, Red Sox host the Rays, Braves in Milwaukee, Angels up against the Athletics, and the Mariners in the desert taking on the Diamondbacks. Also, Padres taking on the Dodgers. And in the basketball world, WNBA Commissioner's Cup, Sparks taking on the Valkyries. Tip off at 8 o'clock. That's going to do it for us here. We've got pregame coverage with Andrew Walker, Jason Gregor, Donovan Paulson coming up next year on Sports 1440. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
It's been a long 35 years since we last hoisted the cup. Sports 1440 has the finals covered with Curious, Low Tide, Gregor. And be sure to check out the pre- and post-game shows with Andrew Walker. Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader.
Hey, Alberta, the all-new Play Alberta app is here. Casino, sports betting, lottery, all in one app, right on your phone. And because it's Play Alberta, you know it's safe, secure, and reliable. Download it now and play over 500 online casino games, live dealer tables, and unique games you'll love. Plus, bet on sports from anywhere in the province. You in? Download Play Alberta now from your phone's app store and deposit using promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus on the house. That's promo code OIL for a $100 casino bonus.
What does excellence truly mean, and how does it guide your choices? At Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't just a goal, it's their standard. They shine in every aspect, from top-tier customer satisfaction in sales and service to impressive inventory, strong customer loyalty, and prices that are tough to match. Experience the dedication to quality firsthand at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Oodle Noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudell, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the new world. At Ellis Island, Nudell was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Get incredible value at Triple Creek Golf Club. Enjoy our beautifully maintained, picturesque course without breaking the bank. The TCGC staff prides itself on providing an excellent experience with every round. Book a tee time at triplecreekgolfclub.ca.
Is it Riverside Motorsports?
No. It's Riverside Motorsports. Over 55 years in business, and people still get it wrong.
Guess it's time to get it right.
Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Spring cleanup is a breeze with the Lawnmower Hospital and Echo Pro Attachment Series. With one power head and 16 different attachments, the Echo PAS powers through almost any spring cleanup job. And speaking of power, Echo now has a battery-powered powerhead that uses the same attachments as gas. Find out how commercial landscapers can save 20% for 24 months with the Landscaper Fleet Discount Program. See lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
I'm tired of waking up tired.
Waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
What's your vision for your community? At Vision Credit Union, ours is a thriving rural Alberta where kids have team jerseys, firefighters have the gear they need, and community kitchen fridges stay full. It's why we give back millions every year through grants, donations, sponsorships, and profit shares. Because when your community succeeds, we all do. Bank somewhere with Vision. Vision Credit Union. We see banking differently. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Around for this first segment. Lots to get to. Game 3, Panthers Oilers landed for our NHL game day analyst will come up in about 20 minutes. Yeah, it's a big one tonight. I was listening to you earlier, and you kind of referenced there's a lot of people that are too anxious, too nervous. Like this is getting to them.
Oh God, yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm getting to the point. It's tougher for me. My dad doesn't watch.
Really? He
No,
doesn't watch?
Not at all. Like he literally
Like,
could not
does he
watch.
listen to it?
No, he is all into it, and he will just check the score. He can't do it. He gets too anxious.
What?
Yeah, it's funny,
Like, does
right?
he check the score? Like, does he watch a movie and then flip it intermission and see what the score is, or no?
He'll ask, like, he'll sit there, be intense, reading. He knows the game is on, and then like mom will give him an update once in a while, and he just can't do it. He can't.
So he'll read a book. So is he in the room
No,
listening?
no.
He's just in another room
No.
reading, and then your mom walks in. Hey, what's your dad's name?
Ian.
Ian.
Yeah.
Hey, Ian. Dude. So does she give like a play-by-play? Oilers are up 1-0.
No. She'll like if it's like hey, they're up 3-0, they're playing good. He's like, oh, good, and then you go back to reading. He can't.
Wow.
I know he can't do it.
But it's not like I was kind of like surprised how many people say they're just like it's too much for me. Like I get too nervous, and I'm just kind of like,
man, like
it's crazy.
it's not enough for me not to watch, but like double overtime, I'm sitting there at Smoke Barbecue, double OT. I felt in my like soul that the Oilers were 1 goal away from winning a Stanley Cup. That's what it felt like to me. I know it's not literal truth, but
yeah,
let's be honest.
Because if they
right?
go up 2-0,
yeah,
their odds are good. Yeah.
And I wanted to die. Like it was hard. It was really hard. And I think for a lot of people too, like they're so close.
Yeah.
Right. And given what happened last year, it's such a different feeling this year. And right now, especially if you are online, you know, you see Vancouver and Calgary and Toronto, and this is important. It's very,
because there's no
important.
guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
I think what Oiler fans last year.
It's scary, man. It's really scary, and it's anxious, and I still think they're going to win. I thought before the series it might be easy, but it's obviously not going to be easy, right?
I think what last year, you go to Game 7, obviously you can't go any farther in the Stanley Cup Final, Game 7. And to get back to the Cup Final is hard. There was a lot of people who didn't think the Oilers were going to be here in the final when the playoffs began. And a lot of different times during the regular season. And so now you're here. You're probably like, well, I want them to win, but they're also like, God, if they lose 2 in a row, now I got to listen to all these idiot Flame fans and Canuck fans and everybody else.
Yeah.
And more importantly, you have to be like, oh, geez, the team I root for lost. And it's like, there's no guarantee. Like, the Oilers are going to be good, right? You got Draisaitl. I'm a firm believer McDavid's going to sign an extension. I get all that. But it never guarantees you that you'll win, right? Like the Buffalo Bills, right? It happened. Now it's a complete oddity, and I think the Oilers are going to win. But I can see how some fans
AFC championships in a row. Yeah.
Well, I think I could see how some fans are like, it's too nervous. But I just now, is Ian nervous about other things in life?
I mean, as he gets older, he probably has a little bit more anxiety. But like, this is it.
This is
like,
it. Okay.
It's the only one he it's the only one he doesn't. He can't watch.
Now maybe last year is different because the Oilers were down 2-0 already, right? So
there was no pressure.
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
When they blew Game 3 at home, it was a really down feeling because we all knew they had just lost the cup, and then the next week was just like this party, and then all of a sudden Game 7, the pressure was back a little bit, but not really. Like Florida played their best game of the series. They deserved to be champions. This year it's just different, but like you said, there's no guarantees. And for me, this everything changes if they win. Everything changes. No Canadian team has won since 1993. It's this mic drop moment. It would feel so good for fans, for players, for the organization, everything. And then even after that, like I've grown up hating the Calgary Flames, right? Battle of Alberta.
Yeah.
My Flames hate as an Oiler fan has certainly gone down over the years because my hate for Vancouver fans has gone up, right? So and Toronto for that reason. Like I actually kind of find Calgary a little likable now. I know that might be blasphemy, but my point is, if the Oilers win, if they do it, like if they finally break that Canadian thing, like the Flames could win a cup in a couple of years and it wouldn't even really bother me, right? But like if the Oilers do it first, it just changes. It changes fandom for a whole generation. It's a very important series.
Oh no, that is totally valid. And we got a lot of text flying in. Hey boys, exactly what I do is I check the score online. I can't bring myself to watch, and for the dumb reason, I think they have a better chance to win if I don't. I know it makes no sense.
Yeah,
Dave, aka Pickled Wiener, and he trust me. Wait. So, it doesn't matter what walk of life you're from. One of our friends in the neighborhood, she's a doctor. Like now doctors, you got to do a lot of school. You're pretty intelligent. She's like, I have watched 2 games they've lost, so she doesn't watch. And
some people do.
And I'm like, but they're like 13-3. Now she works a lot. Like the one thing I've learned about doctors, like my God, like I can't believe the hours they work and how that's legal. But anyway, so she works a lot. So it's not like she could watch every game anyway. But there are times when she's available to watch the game. She's like, no, I'm not going to watch because they'll win. And then they win. So then it fuels that belief that if I don't watch, it's going to win. And because you can rationalize with people. I said, okay, but you're sitting at your house, in St. Albert, the game's in Florida. How do you think you watching the TV will impact the game at all?
It's not rational, but they're going to admit it's not rational.
It's totally irrational. And that's okay. Yeah. Like that's what, fans are, fanatics in a polite way. But it is unique to me. And I wonder, and I'd be curious if fans, the longer it goes, does it get worse? Like, okay, it's 1-1 now. Well, what if on Friday we come on and it's 2-2? So now you're like, well, we're halfway to a cup, but you're also closer to losing it technically, right? Because now Florida only has to win 2 games. Sarah, today they have to win 3. So, like, does it get worse for fans?
Yeah. Hey, on the text line, the Weiss Johnson text line, 1-833-401-1440 if you want to weigh in. Hey, Greg's, I'm Ian. Not literally, but I think he's saying he's just like my dad. He says, I behave the same way during playoff games. I'm also a big believer in puck don't lie, right? And so watching game 1, I thought the Oilers were the better team. They deserved to win.
Yeah.
Right. And so you get nervous because like they need to win this game because this is their game.
Yeah, you can't blow it.
Game 2, there was that feeling with 1 goal and you can almost start etching your name on the cup. That was nerve-wracking, and at the same time, Florida probably deserved to win game 2, or at the very least, this series deserves.
Yeah,
to be
I think
split,
it's fair
right?
that the series.
It's been
split.
A very close series.
Yeah. I think Edmonton, if we did overall and we had Woodley on, like Edmonton overall in 2 games has had more chances, but if it's not all averages, it's just based on each individual game. And last game, the Oilers
or periods, right?
Yeah.
Like Florida's dominated
the
second period,
in both games.
Yeah.
And so
I think Oilers have won more periods in the Panthers.
And so I would like to see how Edmonton and Florida would respond if the Oilers enter the third period with a lead.
Right.
Because they've been very good. Like, looking at the Dallas and Vegas games, they were leading pretty much all the time. And they could lock it down without, like, sitting back and just having Stuart Skinner have to stand on his head. Like, they kept attacking while still leading. And so I'm curious to see. Now, I know Florida's a better team than those two, but Edmonton's shown they're comfortable playing with the lead. I'd like to see them play with the lead later in the game and see how they handle it.
Cross Mitsubishi pregame show here on Sports 1440. Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition. 9605 34th Ave, crossmitsubishi.ca. As soon as this hour is over, I'll be zipping up to St. Albert, the Ridge, socially. Actually, not far from where you reside.
Oh, yeah, I know where the Ridge is, buddy. I walked to it.
Gregor's address is, no, I won't give that out, but it is, they sponsored the postgame show, obviously, and we're, during playoffs, we're usually doing the games downtown just to be close to the arena and the ice district. But tonight, if you want to come watch, I mean, they might be full up, but, come on by or give them a call. I'll be at the Ridge, and I'll be there for the postgame as well. And it is Monday, so they got their late night menu and everything like that.
You can, for those of you that are like Ian, you can sit on the patio with your back inside and just hear what's going on without seeing what's going on.
All right, so one caveat. My dad will watch the odd playoff game, but he has to come see me at Smoke or the Ridge in a group.
In a group
setting, it's a little easier.
It's a little easier,
but he won't watch it by himself.
All right,
that's and I think
I can see that. Some people, because they're like, well, I'm out here in public, I can't lose my mind.
Well, yes, and you can get distracted, right? Like,
there's
other stimuli going on.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cat Dad on the text line says, I watched the game on Friday at my cousin's house. I'm no longer allowed to watch games at my cousin's house.
Really?
Yeah, I have a good friend as well. We play hockey with him, and he has this, he likes to have people over generally, but he only invites certain people over on Oiler game days. He just can't change it. Can't change the luck. Can't change. So you can't. If you want to hang out, you're not allowed to do it. Yeah,
I get it. Some people are like, they're not. There's little stitious, there's superstitious, and there's uberstitious for some.
The over-under, let's get right to it right now so you have a lot of time to get your guess in for the River Cree Resort and Casino. Every game we give you a little proposition, something to watch for here in the pregame show. And you pick over or under. You send us a text on the Weiss Johnson text line, 1-833-401-1440. And if you guess correctly, you get entered into that random draw for $100 to the River Cree Resort and Casino, where you can watch all your favorite sports, of course, including you want to be around a crowd, good spot to watch Stanley Cup Final. Live on the big screens, tap 25, and in the center bar, visit rivercreeresort.com. There was a point where I thought the Oilers might roll the Panthers in this series, and at the same time, when the Panthers were rolling the Hurricanes, and it looked like Edmonton was going to get through, and given last year and everything, I had the thought, this could be an all-time series, and it's setting up to be that way. Who knows? Maybe every game goes to overtime. I don't know. But that's the question tonight. Game 3, games 1, game 2 went to OT. Will we see overtime for a third straight game? That's the over-under question. So
under is
over under 3.5 periods.
Oh.
It will be the over under 3.5 periods. So over or under. Text us at 1-833-401-1440.
So now just wait a second. If it's 3.5,
yeah.
What if someone scores at 2-minute mark of overtime?
Well, it's in the fourth period, so it's over.
Oh, so then
right.
so it's basically over under 70 minutes.
Yeah, we go minutes. Over under 60 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Over
under 60 minutes. Okay. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. Mike on the text line says, boys, I have to listen to the first period on the radio, then watch the rest of the game on TV with no volume. I love it, man, because I totally, even when I was, okay, this is stupid. This is going to make me sound ridiculous, but as a young, teenage sports fan, I would do a few crazy things. I would, if I had to leave somewhere, actually, I kind of still do this. If I'm watching the game and my team is doing well and I have to leave for whatever reason, I'll leave the TV on. I'm not changing. I'm not turning it off. Even if the TV's on by itself in the house, I'm not screwing. I still do that one. That one's not crazy. That one's not crazy. I used to get upset at my mom if she was vacuuming and it was a key part of the game, because it's man, you're distracting the power play. Stop it. Knock it off. And then this one is ridiculous. When I was small, I used to take my brother's plushies, the stuffed animals that they had, and I would set them on the couch so I felt like I was sitting in the crowd. That was more as a kid, but
that I can kind of so when my family,
ridiculous.
My wife and I, we went on a trip to Arizona, and we took an Uber out to this hike, and it was unreal. Like, it was pretty hard hike up a mountain, and then when we come back, the problem was it was so far out that the Uber wouldn't work. Like, you weren't getting you couldn't set up on your phone, and there's like no one around. I'm like, well, let's just walk back to the main road, which is like 4 miles. So we're walking, then of course it starts raining. Like, I'm in the desert. How the hell is it raining? But anyway, we're walking.
First rain since 1913.
And as we're walking, we're about 3 miles in, and I'm like, don't worry. I'm a faster walker. I said, I'll just walk to the road. Like, I'm going to get somewhere so we can call an Uber as quick as we can. So eventually I got close enough.
27 hours type of stuff here. Yeah.
But meanwhile, as we were walking, our neighbor Kim, she found what's called, and it's like a stuffed little potato, but it has a happy message on it, and it's supposed to be like a good luck potato.
Okay.
She found it, right? She's like, oh, we have this good luck potato. Like, somebody had left it there. It was in perfect shape, and they leave it for people, and it's supposed to mean they're going to bring big luck. So she's like, oh, you know what? You should give this to your son. So my wife takes it. So my son now, anytime he watch, it doesn't matter. Like, he's a Jays fan. Anytime one of his teams is playing, he puts it right in the middle of the TV on the bottom, but he puts it right where the eye is. So when you want to change the channel or the volume, he's like, no, Dad, it's got to be right in the middle of the TV. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So anytime one of his games plays, that's what he puts on there.
They're in the finals. It's working.
Oh, yeah. No, it's so
anything
fun.
Everyone is doing is working right now. That's all you can say.
Oh, yeah, they are. They're 3 wins away. So they're in a better position this year than they were last year.
Yeah. Yes, they are. And I thought, I don't know. I'm just a little surprised at myself. I really want this. I want this really bad as a fan, and for the players and for the city, and just to get, like, I actually don't want to hate other Canadian teams. Right? I know that's part of fandom, but it's been so long. I just can't. I can't have, like, listen, the Leafs are eventually going to win. It's going to happen one day. It just better not be before the Oilers.
Will it be in your lifetime?
Like, well, honestly, I mean, like, I'm mostly done a pretty unhealthy life, so probably not.
I find what's interesting is, so you are saying what fans in the other markets are all saying, because most of them, rightfully so, want their team to be the one who wins, because I think you're accurate.
Everything changes.
Once
a
a
whole
Canadian
generation
team wins,
of people,
no one has to hear it anymore. And so it'll be good for that team to win. But it's not like you can say, oh, I'm doing it for Canada. Because right now, there are some Canadians who are like, I just want a Canadian team to win. I don't really care.
Yeah, those are casuals, right?
Yeah, but you know, I do know in 2004, I knew lots of Edmonton Oilers fans who cheered for the Flames, and I'm like, I can't believe you guys are cheering for the Flames. Like, that's like, come on. I'm like, I would expect Flame fans to be like, I'm cheering for Florida, because some will say you shouldn't put on negativity. Okay, well, I'm not. Don't say you're cheering for Edmonton. Say you're cheering for Florida. That's the way, because it'd be easy for a Flame fan. Well, I'm cheering for Tkachuk. Right.
Like,
and Matthew
Tkachuk, the guy that asked out.
Yeah,
right?
smart player though. What does he say afterwards? Oh, I couldn't let Edmonton win, right? And so the Calgary fans, they gobble it right up.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
I would say, so in 2004, because the Flames were a wonderful story in 2004.
Yeah.
And I was not cheering for them, but it didn't bother me. It was nice to see.
But they were Cinderella.
But and it was also before the lockout, which in the grand scheme of things ended up helping teams like Edmonton and Calgary, I think, for the most part. So I didn't begrudge Calgary. And then I remember the moment when Montador scored the OT winner in Game 1, I believe, of the conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He comes in, pinches in from the point, unlikely depth score, biggest goal of his career.
It wasn't like their 8th defenseman because they had all these D-men injuries.
That was the moment I was like, uh-oh, what have I done? And I didn't cheer for them after that, because I that was the moment I was like, they actually might do it, so I can't have this. And then I rooted hard for Tampa, man.
You can't have this on my resume.
Vinny LeCavalier to Ruslan Fedotenko in Game 7. Oh, hook it to my veins.
Like Flame fans will still talk about the Marty Gelinas on-goal. And I actually think they might have an argument.
No, didn't go in. It's moot. It's moot. But
But I could see why they'd be upset.
Sure,
right? Like that one.
But that was an era where how many goals even earlier in the playoffs? Probably there wasn't video review.
It's like the Oilers and Cam Talbot and Ryan Kessler, Game 5. Like you want to fire up an Oilers fan. Just mention Game 5, Anaheim. Ducks.
Yeah. No doubt. Okay, few quick things while I got you here, and I know you've been talking about it. The Sam Bennett situation, it is kind of like, I do treat Florida in the sense of, how they play.
Yeah.
I respect it. Like, that's how they're going to win, is doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, it's only going into game 3. The officials, and I'm not a ref hater, because I think that they are the best in the world at what they do. I don't think, this guy hates this team, this guy hates this team. I think that's stupid. I think the refs want to do as good a job as possible because they want to get raises, they want to work playoffs next year, all that kind of stuff. The Sam Bennett thing is a joke right now. Like, the officials, like, they have to be aware of what's happening now, right?
Well, I think that's why there was a penalty called on him in game 2, right? When he fell on Skinner.
Yeah, for sure. But he's gonna, like, maybe he doesn't do it again. But in my thought, it's like he's gonna try to get him hurt again.
Oh, well,
he's not gonna change.
Yeah, he'll go around to the net, and I think so. It's the game within the game. Like, I think it becomes like, the minute Sam Bennett's around the net, Oiler fans watching, their anxiety will like automatically. So to me, that's what's great about sports. And like, trust me, I'll be focusing in closer as an analyst. I'm on, okay, what's he doing here? And now, because we had Ladislav Smid on, and because I asked him, as a defenseman, you're in the NHL, what do you do? He's like, well, geez, like
regular season, you cross-check him right in the neck.
Yeah,
who cares?
Part of you wants
right?
to,
but
in the playoffs,
it's the Stanley Cup Finals.
And then he's like, and he goes, hey, ideally you want to try to box him out, and that's the number one thing. But the plays develop. Sometimes he'll get to the position first,
and that's a double screen too, right?
So then he's like, well, now all you have to do then is you probably have to be leery. Don't give him the chance. Don't cross-check him a bit, because then if he cross-checks and falls, you can say, well, I was pushed in. And in theory, he was. Now, did he go in easier than others? He's mastered it, right? Like, because people have texted and said, well, why don't the Oilers do it? I'm like, I don't think it's as easy as you think to do it.
It's a gift.
Where
Hyman's good at stuff like that. Perry's good at stuff like that.
Yeah, Perry's good at it.
But Perry doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. And it has to stop with Bennett. Like, so they gave him a 2-minute minor on the interference call.
Right.
And, like, thank God, because Ekholm's like, buddy, like, I'm not doing anything here. But, like, earlier in the period, he kicks Ekholm's stick out of the way. It's a clear penalty. That's a penalty all
day.
It
was? Yeah, that one.
Man,
yeah.
it's Sam Bennett. Of course he kicked it away. And then the puck ends up and Sam Bennett scores. Like, I was like, I think it's very difficult for officials to officiate Florida Panthers games. And I'm not saying, the refs are bad or refs are to get Edmonton, but like,
well, they got guys who they toe the line. So to me, you've got to do. You've got to do
has
it back.
To be a penalty. It just has to.
Yeah, you got to do. To me, you've got to play the gamesmanship, and I think it's a skill to master. Where's the line? Maybe I can step over it without getting called, right? And that's going to happen. There's going to be calls that people aren't going to like. There's no question about it. And to me, like, Sam Bennett, he's the villain, but right now, like, people
he's having a huge
impact.
That's
the other thing. Like, you got to, as much as it's focused on him in front of the net, how about focus when he has the puck on his stick and not let him beat you for 3 goals?
Yeah. I will say, if you go look at Conn Smythe odds right now, Connor McDavid is obviously the runaway leader. I think Draisaitl keeps scoring. I think there's value there. But Sam Bennett, if Florida wins, like, Sam Bennett's like plus 500 right now. Who else is winning it? If, like,
well, they have Bobrovsky.
Sam Bennett's winning it.
No, if he wins it for Florida, I totally agree with you.
100%.
I don't think the gap.
What a good bet that is.
I don't think the gap between Draisaitl and McDavid is nearly as, like, the odds makers have it that way, but I don't think it's that much at all.
Draisaitl has 3 overtime winners.
Yes, and he has an assist on the other one. Yes. And so you look at their overall numbers, everything. Like, Connor McDavid, he made that unbelievable play. It's amazing play. But Leon Draisaitl's playoffs have been just as impactful as Connor McDavid.
Also, keep in mind who's voting. This is Professional Hockey Writers.
There's only a select group of voters.
Right, so
I think it's 20.
Not the guys that cover the finals. Right?
Yeah, guys are.
You get a vote.
There's usually people from each team. There's a representative or 2 of each team, and then there's national. But they're not allowed. The people can't mention if they have a vote till after.
Right. So, like, Speck will have a vote. Friedman will have a vote.
I would think so.
Yeah. You don't have a vote.
Well,
you voted on.
If I did have a vote, right? I couldn't say it.
Right.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say.
Oh, okay.
They don't. No one can say, like, when you're voting on the player awards in the regular season. Everybody knows, like, you've had a vote for years, but they switch it around in the Cup Finals, and whoever has a vote, no one knows who has a vote until.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I voted on. I voted on World Junior Awards one time.
Okay.
Like,
Nice.
The year was
Oh,
here
yeah.
here in Alberta.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When was it? Okay. Yeah. Not the one that, like, which one? The
one
Or
where,
no, it must be earlier.
The one where, well, Russia beat Canada in the semis, and that was the Kuznetsov Yakupov, and Yakupov.
Oh, okay,
Yakupov ate that tournament for breakfast, and I remember leaving that tournament being like, well, I mean, you would have just got to draft that guy. Like, obviously, right?
Yeah.
No.
Lots of people thought that too.
Yeah, he was really good. And then Canada lost in the semis. They ended up winning bronze, and then Sweden beat Russia 1-0 in the final down in Calgary. And the other, you know, who was unbelievable? I voted him best defenseman, and he won best defenseman, was Brandon Gormley. Oh, man,
he was a really
what
good
a player.
Man.
Shocked. There's some guys that come along that I'm shocked didn't have very good careers.
Oh,
he
dude.
is top of the list, man.
Like junior play, like it just shows you the gap between juniors and then to the NHL. Like it is hard.
Yeah.
It is really hard. To become great at the NHL is ridiculous.
Yeah, he had a little Evan Bouchard in him too. Like that was kind of his style. And anyway,
Yeah.
It is the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show. Our game day analyst Landon for our former NHLer with the Wings, the Bruins, the Minnesota Wild. He will join us next. It is the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show before Game 3 here on Sports 1440.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on